squeeze, and welcome back to Krown's magical crypto moon cave.
That's right, the crypto moon cave is back, and we got plenty to discuss today as Bitcoin did fulfill a little bit of our short-term time frame range expectations from yesterday's shorts video, which I unfortunately did not make fucking public. Unfortunately, it was actually listed as unlisted, which apparently some people still found it anyways, which is pretty damn cool. Oh, Scott Carney, there you are, as always. Good morning to you, man. Anyways, apparently I've been doing these shorts videos pretty much every day now, sometime around like US market open, a little bit after that, kind of like going over the short-term time frame ranges. Did one yesterday. It was unlisted, unfortunately. It looks like some people did get to see it, but basically what we did say was Bitcoin was flagging out at around that $34,000 level, and if we did lose the 33.7 level on an hourly deal to closure, then that would initiate targets down to about 32 to 32,500-ish region, of which we have seen thus far. Now, does this change the analysis from yesterday? Not necessarily just yet. However, things are certainly being called into question, and we do have to entertain the possibility of a full-on bearish retest in this price action right here, right now. So there is a lot that I imagine is going to be happening today within... God fucking damn it. Goddamn kitchen tools at it again. but I do imagine that there's going to be a lot of action today, and we probably will clarify a lot of the higher term time frame resolutions. If you are bearish right now, I imagine you are going to be looking for a break probably today or tomorrow. I do think it would be happening relatively soon if you do want to be bearish. Now, if you do want to be bullish, you're just looking for some sideways action at the very best, as I've been saying for the past like month and a half now. That's the best that Bulas can do here. Just sideways crab market for the rest of the summer, maybe even into early fall. So with that said, let's go put the focus now on the Krown application, which we found at app.crunchy.net. Before that, I would like to wish you the best and happiest as well. And also, I see Shitshot. What's up, man? It's good to see you, my friend. Good to see you, Mr. Brian. Anyways, Bitcoin dominance still heading up as we do see it oscillate above the 46% region right there. So altcoins going to be smacked on the face no matter which way Bitcoin chooses right here. The time for altcoins has passed. The time for Bitcoin has come, but that means that if Bitcoin trends both to the upside or the downside, altcoins lose out regardless of that. So if Bitcoin does go to the upside, I imagine that altcoins will recover a little bit versus their US dollar. But in general right now, if there's something that's making me very, very bearish, it would be mostly looking at altcoins just in general. Bitcoin, you can kind of come up with a case for both sides right now, and technically speaking, we are still holding above $32,000. So, you give it the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise. But for most altcoins, they just look like they are ready to go to Nuketown or Goblin Town. Is that like the new fucking meme that's actually hilarious? Goblin Town. Yeah, I like it. I want to go live in Goblin Town, be the mayor of Goblin Town, and be fucking goblin around. It's good, man. Anyways, fear and greed index also popped up significant amount from yesterday to today, just hanging out at 22, but that's not too important right now. What I do want to check out is the best winners and the best losers, and holy fucking moly, man. Clayton up 44%. What the actual hell? Bitcoin Gold, same thing. Quant, or not the same thing, but up pretty damn big right there too. 18.5%. Quant, 20%. Tron, Graph, Doggycoin, BitTorrent, Horizon, Bakery Token, and XRP. What do all of these have in common? Don't fucking say it, Krown. You're going to piss a lot of people off, but I do think that it kind of speaks for itself that we see all of these sort of tokens on the winners list. And what is a typical general knowledge? Well, we typically see the junk rally last. And in this case right here, I don't know about Clayton, but the rest of them I am not so sold on, and perhaps maybe the Graph as well. On the other side, though, we see a lot of the winners from the last cycle giving up another double-digit day. Kusama, Maker, Ravane, Thorchain, Aave, Compound, LivePeer, what the hell is that? MDEX and Near Protocol all getting smacked in the face with the red dildo of death. Here's what the Mark Data tab says over here. I imagine we still are printing more or less negative funny rates on, actually globally speaking. Looks like BitMEX, OKX, and FTX are, and actually Derbiting and Kraken all posting decently negative rates, I suppose. Not anything too crazy right here, which does kind of hold off on my inherent look at a potential breakdown today, that is. But still, if we are going to, if we are going to go down, like, that's just going to get worse, to be fair. Anyways, let's go see what the put call market's looking like today. We do have a big expiration coming up tomorrow, and then we should check out where these are going to be rolled into, which is very likely going to be July regulars. And what do we see right here with the put call market? We do see, again, the $36,000 put strike is getting played up to fucking infinity. I do think that does align with a little bit of a Bula-ish narrative. I do not give a fuck about this max pain price over here. This is irrelevant. This is silliness. This is just a talking point that I don't think really ever means all that much. Yes, sometimes you will see things kind of pinned right around there, but that can be explained in multiple different reasons. More often than not, you'll see that this is just completely irrelevant. It doesn't mean much. But remember, this is the biggest expiration that we've had in a very long time. This is quarterly, bi-yearly, and a lot of people making moves on this one. So I imagine you're going to see the July start to pick up, and that's exactly what we see right here. So I'm curious where these going to be rolled rolled into, and if we can come up with a little bit of a narrative to come into the month of July, which starts, I believe, next week, actually. And what do we see over here? We see the $25,000 put strike getting played up quite a fair bit, and the $45,000 call strike getting played up quite a fair bit. So again, whether you're bull, if you are the biggest bull right now, I do think the best that you're going to do is just sideways between about 30,000 and 45,000-ish region at very best. And that would be good if Bitcoin could like stay there for the next couple months here. That'd start to really entertain the possibilities of a macro low in place. Until that happens, though, I still think, I mean, this is starting to line up a little bit more with a bearish spread right there. So I will say that. And of course, today should be a pretty damn big day. So with that in mind, I think it's time to go into the actual pricing charts themselves. I've got a new trusty little keyboard over here to get this one out. And there we go. Shit. Whoops, my bad. All right, sweet. So let's start off with Bitcoin on the daily right now. And we actually did confirm something relatively interesting yesterday on closure. We did confirm 1, 2, 3 drives of bullish divergence coming off the lows. The daily jewel is not necessarily lining up for a potential buy signal anymore just yet, barring like a $2,000 to $3,000 green dildo party before end of day today. But ultimately, I know that would be on the hopium side for Bulas right now. If we go down into the lower term timeframes, I do want to completely go off of a new chart right here. Let's go down to an hourly and let's talk about what we spoke about yesterday on the shorts video. So we were looking at this little consolidation right here. Bitcoin I was essentially having a bit of a bullish bias as long as Bitcoin remains above about 33.7 on the hourly closures, and looking at a target about 36, maybe even 36,500-ish region, somewhere right around here from the prior breakdown, coming in from June 19th, actually. Let me just throw a nice little blue box of death and destruction over here. God damn, that is fucking loud. Anyways, looking at this right here, is Bitcoin going to try to put in a higher low or not? That is a real question right now. And if you are bullish, you are probably not feeling too good about this right here, because we are pretty much at the last area if you are looking at this as a potential higher low structure. So if I do pull this out, we do see that we're kind of basing off the 786. That's usually not the strongest read of all time, but that's kind of like your last line of defense if you are looking at this as putting in a potential higher low on the short-term timeframes here. With that in mind, if we do start to break below this region right here, which I did say yesterday was about 32, maybe 32.5. In this case, I'd probably even just say a closure below 32.5 is, well, let's just make it 32,000 bucks. It probably is better to err on the side of caution here, or we could just say 32,200. Yeah, let's mark it right there. If we do close an hourly below there, I would be looking for Bitcoin to cough up the majority of that bounce that we had from a couple days ago and come back down somewhere around about 31,000 bucks, and perhaps try for my least favorite formation, which I almost never see work out, but that would be a double bottom, of course. And in this case right here, just do the Trollinger bands kind of support that? They kind of do, they kind of don't. If you look at it right here, we are seeing expansion, so that typically is going to be continuation of trend, but at the same time, you would see a little bit of a backfill on our bounce dildo, and we do see that that would be coming in around the bottom side Trollinger band as well. So that'd be the best case for Bulas right now. At the end of the day, though, if Bitcoin starts to break down today or tomorrow, this is going to be very likely a major, massive nuke into the mid and lower $20,000 territory. You know, I'd still be having the same sort of targets in mind that we spoke about a couple days ago when Bitcoin was breaking down over here before that nice little bouncy bounce, and that would still be somewhere right, actually it's not on this chart, it's on this chart. Is it on this chart? Yes, it is on this chart. That would still be around 27,000 bucks for the first target for a little bit of a bouncy bounce, and then probably a bigger, maybe even potential low within the mid to lower $20,000 territory between about 23.5 and 25,000 bucks respectively. Also along the 2 spot 618 right here, and also the measure move off of this formation. Anyways, I do want to bring in another sombering detail as well. I think it's important to kind of cover up all the details here because, well, I mean, we could be on the precipice of a pretty damn big move. If this one does break down, it's not going to fucking bounce again, or at least anything that's going to be too tradable as far as like higher time frame goes. Is going to probably be like a knife through hot butter all the way to the mid 20,000s. But if we do go back over here, I do want to kind of bring up this sort of similar situation, right? Coming back in from, this was February 2020. Where Bitcoin was essentially putting a nice, distributive markers right around the February highs at about 10,500-ish region, putting a bit of a head and shoulders right here on the daily, not necessarily on the weekly, however. Let me just double check on this one. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily looking the same on the weekly right here, but we do see essentially very, very similar price action to what you would expect over here. And this is kind of what I'm afraid of. If Bitcoin does break down, I probably would be expecting something similar to this, maybe not the full totality of this move, but very, 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 very likely, down another very aggressive amount And with that in mind, should we come up with some ranges on the other side for the short-term timeframes? Yes, indeed, we should. And it's actually pretty damn easy right here. We can use the exact same breakdown area as yesterday, and we can even go down. I'd even feel confident doing this on an hourly in this case. It's pretty damn well defined. We can see that the 382 is coming in this region as well. And if that does happen, I'd still say basically the same targets as yesterday. That has not really changed here. I just want to represent the downside, because if Bitcoin is going to turn to the downside, it's very likely to happen today or tomorrow with everything in mind. We have quarterly closures. We have expirations for major options and futures contracts, and that typically is going to create some nice big pivots on price sections as we have kind of gone in the past. Anyways, with that in mind right here, Bitcoin is trying to put in a bit of a low in the hourly, so fair enough. But if we are going to keep it real, I suppose, let's go over here to momentum oscillators and see what we got going on. And let's start off with the very short-term timeframes. Hourly is actually pretty damn beat up. 32,750 is the magical number on this one. Technically, actually below that by about $100, but that'll naturally come down. Bi-hourly showing 33,675. 3-hour is showing what? 34,350. 4-hour is showing $34,000. So it's definitely not. It's definitely not. All said and done right here, but back above about 33.7, the same sort of pivot that we had from yesterday. You can maybe even just make this 33.650-ish region. Then yes, I would have the same target as yesterday. Still looking at 36,000 to 36,500-ish region. If we can start to close dailies, especially above even 35,000 bucks, that's going to look pretty damn good for perhaps another test to the top side of the daily range here, somewhere around 39, maybe even 40,000 bucks. Again, I need to choose my words really fucking carefully here, because I read the comments in Discord sometimes, and it makes me really scared. It makes me really fucking scared. Look, even if you're going to be the biggest bull right now, just like last week, if you're going to be the biggest bear, you're probably going to be looking for a bounce off of this level first and foremost. If you're going to be the biggest bull, I still think the best that you do for Bitcoin is just sideways within this range, between about 30,000 and 40, maybe 45,000 bucks for the next couple months. That's probably best case scenario, to be quite honest with you. And that actually starts to look pretty damn healthy if Bitcoin can do that. It should naturally get really, really boring during that time, and it should naturally start to reflect in, people just losing interest in this, in this asset, just in general. Anyways, I want to bring this up as well. God fucking damn it. Can you stop, for the love of God? Jesus. No, sir, I can't. Hey, no, seriously, fucking stop. Jesus Christ, that is annoying. Anyways, let's get on over here to the, or actually I want to bring this up as well. Again, if you want a little bit more Bula-ish hopium, this is what you'd be looking at. You'd be looking at some sort of Wyckoff accumulation event. And whether you're bullish or bearish in this case, you can make a good case for either the ST in phase B, or you could make a case for the spring right here. And if this is a spring, we can expect a test around the initial sort of pump up right here, which on the hourly would pretty much be exactly where we're at. Again, you really don't want to see this drop a little bit below pretty much where we're at right now. I'd say 32,200 is the line in the sand on an hourly, and if I'm using a 4-hour, it just doesn't even look good, right? To be quite honest with you, it does not look good on a 4-hour, and I think most other time frames above. I mean, it just looks like another lower high, if anything. So that's what I'd be looking at right now, but that obviously would be the next sort of Bula-ish hopium. After that, though, I don't really think there's much Bula-ish hopium on the boards. So today is going to be a very, very long day, and if Bitcoin could just not break down over the next couple of days, I'd say that would be a damn good that would be a damn good start, at least for now. And maybe we do get a bit of that regular bullish divergence that again did confirm 3 drives yesterday, and also on the 2-day as well, confirming what should be 1, 2, 3 drives right there. Although this one would be a very, very aggressive read right here, but we do have the we do have the third puzzle piece in place, with Bitcoin putting a nice little hammer dildo right there, also holding on to the purple 200 exponential average as well, and that technically would have a short-term target at 36,000 bucks, and a more aggressive target right around 39,000 bucks. So I do think that that's still on the board here, but again, below 32,200, things do start to switch around, and they probably start to switch around a little bit more aggressively. Again, I would feel very confident calling a move back down somewhere around low 31,000 bucks. Does Bitcoin try for a double bottom right there? I very rarely see those work out, but that'll be the last of the last of the last hopium. I don't think that there's much more after that, and that's going to be pretty fucking nasty if and when it does get way, or give way is what I'm trying to say. But for right now, I do think that you can remain somewhat hopium-ish on the short-term timeframes, especially, and I'd be using the 33.7 pivot as a confirmation tool for a move back up to about 36, maybe 36,500. If the daily can then confirm a closure above about 35, 500-ish region, assuming that we don't get a pullback too deep from there, then yes, I would be looking at that as a damn good indication that Bitcoin will push on to the top side of the daily range, somewhere around 39 to 40,000 bucks, play out that bullish divergence that we identified earlier, and then it keeps that sideways hope alive for a little bit longer. Maybe we even get a move into the $40,000 territory after that. Possible, yes, but again, I do think that you'd find a lot of counter trend pressure somewhere around like the mid 40,000 bucks at very best case. So at the end of the day, I think that you want this to get as boring as possible if you want to be bullish. If you're bearish, you want things to break down pretty much like today or tomorrow is what you'd be looking at. Now, I want to address this as well. So we've been talking about these goddamn moon phases, which I don't want to like. And someone brought up a really good point yesterday. Actually, Nimbo brought up a really good point yesterday. The reason why, or there is like a fundamental reason why this is probably showing good results, especially for this history right here. It's because these moons have been essentially postured around like big closures, for weekly expirations and especially monthly expirations. And we actually have not seen that in the past, as they do naturally change. So if you do look at this and back test it a little bit further back, especially in like 2019 and 2020, did not work out as well, although this worked out really fucking well right here too. So did this. Yeah, in this portion, certainly not as much. But at the end of the day, I do think that it's more or less because it's going to be lining up with those significant dates rather than it's the fucking moon driving the market. So that was really bugging me for a while, but I do think that kind of helps explain the current trajectory or the current results for what you see right here. What I do like about this though is actually the time fib, which we are showing a big pivot coming in today or tomorrow. Yeah, 26th or 27th. I would probably say Friday is going to be the day for that. It's not necessarily exactly 1-to-1, as you can see. It pretty much does line up with all of these pivots on price action, typically to the downside in this case. But in this case right here, I do think today, tomorrow are the big days, so to speak. And technically speaking, all these have come to the downside, but these are typically, seen as pivots on price action. Doesn't mean it always have to come to the downside. It just means that we're expecting a decent move around there. And in this case, we have gotten the last 1, 2, 3, 4, and almost 5 tops right there. Does this turn into the next top before the bear zuka to the downside? Potentially, yes, if you are following that right now. So again, several things on both sides of the court right here, but as long as the hourly just doesn't break below 32.2, I actually would be looking at, or at least I'd be having a bias towards this one, trying to get to the upside. Is there anything else that I want to cover before I get into the comments today? A little bit of a short analysis on Bitcoin, just because, it's more or less cut and dry today as far as ranges go. Everything else is kind of less important to me. If we're looking at momentum oscillators, everything is pointed to the south side right here. SMI couldn't even get back above the 0 read. Nasty. MACD, same thing, just turning back down right there. Not fucking good. And if we do the daily perusals of course, the hash ribbon signal over here, there is no signal. So again, if I am going to be calling a macro low, there is no conversation of that. Of a macro low being a potential until we get a blue buy signal on the hash ribbons indicator right here. And as you can see, it is still diverging away from each other. So it's just going to be becoming less and less likely over time. So with all of that in mind, it's balls in the Barra's court right now. Bless you, sir. Jesus fucking Christ. It's like, you can't stop making goddamn noise. Anyways, just kidding, sir. Jesus Christ. Anyways, yes, if we get a blue buy signal on the hash ribbons indicator, plus of course a higher low on the daily, plus of course I want to see BBWP very, very low as well. And right now it's actually trending to the upside. And this is, technically speaking, after, closing on new lows. That typically is going to indicate continuation in that direction. Well, that is what I'd be looking for to confirm like a macro low in this case. And right now we have none of those things, currently speaking. So it is, again, it's going to take some time. It's going to take a long time, I imagine, if Bitcoin is actually going to turn around from these regions. And to be quite honest with you, it is not looking, I shouldn't say I shouldn't actually say that, because at the end of the day, I do respect this until proven otherwise. This move off the lows was decent, to be fair. This the lower term timeframes are showing okayness, I suppose. It's the higher term timeframes. All higher term timeframes are just not too hot right here. The best that I can do for Bulos is, again, regular bullish divergences of multiple drives coming on daily, 2-day. I think maybe even 3-day has it as well. No, it does not, in fact. And I think the 5-day is also closing here. Remember what we said at the beginning of this week? If the 5-day can reclaim about $35,000 or especially 35.5. I'd say that also keeps up the Bulaw's hopes once again, makes this look like a nice little liquid zone where people have just been getting their fills in, especially below about 34,000 bucks. But it's a long day left to go, and we are currently about 2,000 bucks below that territory right now. Hey, sir, what the fuck's going on right there? Anyways, because how do you not get triggered by that goddamn clanking and clacking, man? It is like nails on the chalkboard to me. Holy shit! And even worse than that is Elsa actually like bites her fork when she eats. It's disgusting. It's like the biggest turnoff ever. Anyways, let's go check out CME. I'm curious what CME is looking like right now. Not hot, not fucking good. See what it looks like on the 3-day. Also not good. What it looks like on the 2-day. Do we have any divergences here? Potentially could put it in, but we need to trade above last 2-day high at the very least, at the very most aggressive point, and that is 34,835. So again, in this case, we do see so many things lining up between the short-term timeframes and the higher-term timeframes that I actually do think this is one of those times where you really could be using the short-term timeframes to get a little bit more of an aggressive entry in these, in this territory. Daily, what do we see right here? Same thing, except daily moving averages are in completely different posturing. Yes, we do have that potential regular bullish divergence come off the lows. 1, 2, 3 drives of that variety is typically relatively powerful, but I do not like the rejection of the 200 simple right here. That is not looking too damn hot to me. Daily jewel on CME is potentially whipping around for a little bit of a of a counter signal on the other side, but it still has a lot of work to do. And realistically, and realistically, as long as we're below yesterday's high, I mean, there's just no talk of it right now. So that is by definition a bearish retest as it stands right now. I do still think that there is a bit of hopium on the other side for Bula to kind of wrap up my own thoughts, and that is going to be almost only verified if we do get back up about 33,700-ish region right here. A little bit of a difficult trading environment, but I do like how the ranges are nice and well defined. And do we see anything of particular interest on the hourly here too? We got a jewel sell signal from about a few hours ago right here. That's not good, is it? Let's see. What about the buy hourly? Do we see anything of particular interest right here as well? Nope, just continuation with trend to the downside. If anything, I mean, Jesus Christ, man, it's like you can't even buy a reversal here. Jesus, man, yeah, not even 3 hours, just straight trend down. I mean, we never even really put in a higher high, so. I think today's, if you're going to be bearish, today's probably the day, maybe tomorrow, somewhere around that time, for I just confirmed another drive of phantom not regular, but hidden bearish divergence. That is tough times for the Bulaws right now. I feel like I'm missing something big. I feel like I am missing something. No. For the love of God. Anyways,
one more time and I bogey you with the 4.
or can you not? Can you go away for a little bit? Anyways, let's go check out Ethereum. Or actually, should we check out Ethereum? No, let's actually check out. I need to make sure that I have my right hotkeys over here. Yeah, let's go check out traditional markets. I think that's hotkey number 4. There we go. Okay, lovely. All right, now where is my damn NASDAQ over here? There we go, 14,300. This would also be another point in the Bulaw's court as well. I do still remain bullish on this. I really like this price action right here. Yes, we did get a bit of a doji deal yesterday, but that is just a sign of indecision. The second that we take out the top side of it, which is 14,315 and 3/4, currently about, not too far away from, actually about 10 bucks away from right now, then I would be looking for this one to just continue on with rally to new all-time highs. I'm still sticking with my long-term targets, of which we're actually getting pretty damn close to the next big one. That's going to be about 14,350-ish region. So about a mere 50 bucks higher than right now. And then I'd be looking for a range to be established between about 14,350 and 14,500-ish region. Play between there for a little bit of time. And then, macro, I still stick with my $15,000 target on this one. The weekly's powerful as all hell. Yes, volume is a little bit lacking on this current breakout, but could we see that pour in today or tomorrow? Yeah, I do think so. So this would also be a little bit more on the side of hopium for the Bulaws here, as is SPY as well. I mean, this is a pretty damn good buyback. I think we are very, very close to even getting a bullish engulfing. In fact, it's almost there. Just need to trade a little bit higher than where we're at right now, about another 10 to 15 bucks higher. Last weekly high was 42.58 and a quarter. Current high of this weekly is 42.48 and a quarter. Pretty fucking close, about 10 bucks away. And if that happens, then I'd basically be looking for another melt up phase in traditional markets for the major indices. Obviously, Dow Jones is going to be the big laggard within this case, and this one actually does look like another bearish retest here too. That does not look fucking good. Jesus Christ, man, nasty. Although in traditional markets, you are a little bit more likely to get some like this, of which I do kind of like trading channels in traditional markets. In this case, you got something like that going on, and perhaps something does come in at the top side as well. Currently speaking, we do have some like this, which would actually be considered a descending broadening wedge, which typically does get resolved to the upside, but realistically this one does look like it wants to come down first to about 33,300-ish region once again, while NASDAQ continues upwards and onwards, and same thing with SPY. So I do think that, you know, helps out a little bit on the short-term Bula-ish case for Bitcoin. Of course, if traditional markets turn around and show any sort of weakness, that's going to be absolutely devastating for Bitcoin, typically speaking. I think it's kind of being held off of its lows, mostly due to this right now, to be honest with you. And let's see, do I have another hot? Oh, fuck, I don't have my hotkey for Ethereum. Oh, well, whatever. We can do a Dixie now, too. What is my hotkey for that? I've got number 5 right here. Lovely. Okay. Let's go look at Dixie and see what the dollar index is doing as of this moment. All right, we're getting a little bit of a bounce. I would be looking for this one to trade back up towards about $92. That is going to put downwards pressure on price action for other assets that trade against it, of course. But in this case, you know, are we looking at a lower high in the making, or is this a higher, or is this a higher low on the daily before pushing through and actually reversing the trend on the weekly? Now, if you are bullish on Dixie, then you are looking at this as a higher low right here. Obviously, this is currently a lower high amongst this $93 tick right here, or $92.90 to be fair. And if we do push through, then you got your full-on reversal, and we can look at price targets back up to, you know, 94.5 and probably more over time. But with a monthly closure coming in relatively soon, you know, we would be expecting kind of a big pivot to be made before that actually does indeed happen. So if we do see that move happen, it probably does happen before end of month, or at least sets it up in the deeper $92 region. And for the short-term timeframes, if we do see this essentially confirmed as a lower high, it actually is rather easy right here. Any sort of a move below yesterday's low will do it for me. But again, keep in mind that yesterday we saw Dixie come all the way down to $91.5. There was pretty much no response from Bitcoin. Bitcoin traded sideways and a little bit of up, and then gives up the majority of its rally in the overnight session. So if we do come back down below this level, yes, this would be confirmed as a local high. I don't think that's exactly happening right now. It might get retested, yes, but next move very likely does test back up north of $92, and then, you know, hold your breath if you want to be bullish on most other assets, because Dixie taking out this high right here very likely does initiate a test at the very least towards 92.80ish region, and if that puts us around our last prior high, well, you got to start holding your breath, because that is starting to look or really threaten an actual macro reversal in this case, which we'll be having on the weekly, and then I believe the monthly as well. Yes, indeed, it will be on the monthly. A little bit higher than that, to be fair, but it would be a good setup coming into what's it called? No, not August, July. Yes. Okay, let's see. I think we can do, yeah, let's actually do Ethereum too. All right, so that's number 6 for me, or let me just double check. It is number 6. All right, let's do a little bit of Ethereum analysis over here as well. The reason why I do really struggle with Bitcoin right now is because Bitcoin I can make some excuses for, no doubt. Ethereum and a lot of altcoins do not look that way. Ethereum, in this case, is bouncing off the 200 simple. Yes, okay, that's great. But this whole fucking price action right here is just really sloppy, and I really don't like the way that this looks, to be honest with you. Yeah, this, I really don't fucking like that. I'm trying to find an excuse for it. Maybe the 2-day. Nope, we're closed on new lows, obviously. 3-day, it looks like absolute dog shit. 5-day is what? 5 days bouncing a little bit, yes, but this is not really necessarily the picture of health and fitness, as you might say. Short-term timeframes, what do we see? Already coughed up the majority of the bounce right here. We can see the same sort of pivots on price action as Bitcoin. That would be 2015 bucks right there. And if that level does get taken out, I would look for a nice little rally to the upside. Again, you're going to probably verify that on Bitcoin a little bit easier on that move above 33.7 if it does happen. If you look at Ethereum, the same level would actually be about 1970, so I take that back. You could be a little bit more aggressive in this case, and you know, again, it's going to be easier to watch on Bitcoin, but if that level does get taken out, I would look for a nice rally anywhere around the 200 simple in this territory, which is kind of coming down a little bit more aggressively towards about 2150ish region, also in line with our breakdown from the 21st of June, just a mere 3 days ago actually. And where would that put us on the daily scale? Still puts us in a downtrend, which, oh my fucking god, man. Yeah, again, it's really up to Bitcoin here to kind of put the market in its backpack and carry the weight. Until that happens, man, altcoins are what really make me kind of consider that this one, you know, could very easily just drop off the fucking lows. I mean, we have to consider what the monthly looks like at this point, as we are just a mere less than a week away from the monthly close. Let me just double check on that. We got 30 days in June, so that means we got about 6 trading days left. And what does this look like right here? It looks like a doji dildo. We've taken out the bottom side of it. If you're aggressive, you look at that as a confirmed reversal and you target 1400, right around the 10 simple, right around your last prior all-time high. You look for a big bounce there. pretty damn cut and dry as far as that goes. And let's just look at what the quarterly is showing right now too, because that's going to be closing at the end of this month, and that looks very concerning, very fucking concerning. Geez, I don't think I've seen something that is that aggressive as a quarterly. I mean, this is what the real chart looks like on linear scale. Holy shit. Oh my fucking god. I mean, this looks like it wants to if it closes something like this, man, it looks like it just needs to go sideways for like a year. That's what it looks like. It doesn't look good. I'll put it that way. Let's go over here and see what it looks like on a with Trollinger bands around it. I'm just curious. Let's go to yes. Okay, this one actually is our long-term one. Would still be closing above the top side of Trollinger band, but that is pretty much useless in this case, as we haven't really populated that all that much. I'm curious what the bi-monthly says. Bi-monthly, still not the picture of health and fitness, but hey, we actually have a little bit of a better history right here, so fair enough. I guess you could make you could give it the benefit of the doubt. And what about the monthly? Where are we looking at the top side there too? Yeah, the top. This one's a lot more conclusive. In fact, if we do close Ethereum's monthly below $2,500, I mean, you got to kind of be thinking down after that. Again, we still got 6 days left in the trading month to go. So a lot can happen between that time. But if this one fails to get back above, especially like $2,000 by end of month, that is not going to look fucking good. If it closes anything like this, it's not going to look good. Above 23 to 2,400, things look okay, I suppose. Can that happen? Yeah, I suppose, yes. That would be a mere 20% move for this asset before end of month within the next 7 days. Possible, yes. Again, mostly going to depend on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is showing a little bit of that hourly strength that we just looked at earlier. So, well, kind of, not really. It's maybe a low. It's maybe a fucking low. All right, fair enough. I think it's time to get on to some comment analysis here. Okay, yes, that's hockey number 6. Okay, sweet. All right, here we go. Let's see what else has got lined up all over here. We got Scott Carney back at it. SNDL as a meme stock is $4 possible. Well, this is the one that we keep on looking at for you, right? Okay, well, let's see. Oh, wait, nope, that's ANDL. Man, I've like not gotten the best night of sleep the last couple nights, and it is starting to really weigh on me. All right, is this one, is $4 possible? I mean, is anything possible? Yes, anything's possible, but what's the probability of that? Look, you're basically, if you're trying to play the fucking meme stocks, man, I think you missed your, I think you missed it up here, man, to be honest with you. It is getting a nice bounce as of yesterday, yes. I don't necessarily know what the meme with this one is, to be honest with you, but generally speaking, man, I don't really have anything new to say about it, man. It's sideways here, and I really do not like this chart long term. Anything that just goes down for years and years on end, that is typically not good. Not seen as a marker of strength, you might say. Weekly might pull through here with another higher low, yes, but ultimately I do think it goes sideways first. Long term, do I think that it could pop back up to like $2? Yeah, I think $2 is reasonable, or 175 more like. But saying $4, I mean, that's basically calling a macro move out of this level right here, and I probably wouldn't say that at this point. I'd want to see this go on for like another few weeks within this range here, go a little bit more sideways, build another higher low anywhere above about 71 cents, and then yeah, maybe you could talk about a move back up to about just under $2 over time. But for right now, if you're like asking me if I think $4 is going to happen like in the immediate future, no, I don't think so, to be honest with you. Is it possible? It's possible, yes. It's just let's put in a bit. Let's continue with this trend a little bit first, on these shorter term timeframes, and then maybe we can talk about that later. All right, cool. Jonathan Washington says, Matic 4-hour daily, please, sir. Yes. Okay, let's look at Matic right now, another popular one. I think Matic is probably putting in one of the better price actions, at least last that I checked. Let's see what it's doing right as of this moment. Yeah, I mean, still relatively speaking, it is looking better than most things within this market. Didn't even close on new lows. It looks like this one opening 109, this one closing 107. Yeah, so technically speaking, we did not close on new range lows, to be fair. And we do have a nice little base right around about 111 and a half or so. So do we have any sort of divergences to be aware of right here? No, we do not. If we go down to short-term timeframes, is this one leading or following? Do we have a higher low right here? Potentially, yes, but you got the same sort of structure that we looked at on Bitcoin, albeit we are closer to the upside resolution of it. Let's go down to the hourly in this case. And what we can look at is right here, right? And if we do start to, of course, close an hourly dildo above about 122, it looks like, then I would be looking at I would be looking at a move back up towards about 130. Again, probably easier to identify on Bitcoin if Bitcoin's essentially above that 33.7 pivot, the same pivot from yesterday. Then I'd look for this one to fall through as well. Again, back up to like 130 or 135 region. Short term, daily would look decent at those levels, actually. Any sort of a daily close above 138. And I would actually look for this one to reclaim back up to like 170, 175 range. Start to look decent right here. Again, though, if we see the market breakdown, is this one going to be safe from all of the all of the downside displeasures? Probably not. But this one I would expect to do relatively well if Bitcoin does pull through here. And right now, Bitcoin, it's going to give it a shot, it looks like. So fair enough. That's what I'd be looking at, and then probably play the breakout on this one, because this one probably is going to actually have a little bit more on top of that in comparison to Bitcoin in this case. All right, Brizzy B, what's up, man? Something very interesting. Bitcoin has not had 3 green daily dildos in a row for the past 2 months, going with the bear trend. Fair enough. I know that some people really like that sort of analysis where it's like, we've never had 6 green dildos in a row, and that can't happen again. I mean, I guess it's like kind of the same sort of thesis as the TD sequential in a way, which a lot of people shit on, but I mean, fair enough. If you can do like a quantitative analysis on something like that, then well. And you can show some results. I mean, maybe there's something to it, but yeah, you are right. Ever since we did reverse, there hasn't been more than 3 green 3-day dildos in a row. True. I mean, true. Yes. And right now we're printing 1, 2, 3, 4 red dildos in a row. And the last time we did that was right around here, and that actually was the current low side of our range. Fair enough. I don't know how much it's interesting. Yes, I don't know how much I'd like base my trades off that, but interesting. Yeah, definitely interesting. Thank you for sharing that, sir. Demon 10. Bullies are win. Bullies are win indeed. Yes, good English, sir. What do you say to that? Hey, what's up, Appetynamic? Krown, sir, excellent to see you. Good to see you too, Mr. Sir. Thank you for, hey man, my pleasure. My pleasure, sir, and much love as well. Thank you, sir. Dashel Nymark says, play Diablo 2 with me. I actually do not know how to play Diablo 2. If you want to play Chivalry, though, I am more than happy to do that. That is my current addiction, and it's probably going to turn into my, if this one breaks down, it's going to turn into my profession is what's going to happen. No, man, I'd actually like to trade a little bit of a downside market here, but right now it's still sideways and still giving you a chance on both sides, boring the shit out of both teams. Anyways, Michael Crook says, can you check Tilray 1 and 4 hour? Yeah, I haven't looked at Tilray in like in a while. I think I looked at it a little bit, like a few weeks ago, and then the last time before that was like a year or two ago. Okay, what are we looking at right here? And you're looking at 1 and 4 hour. I do want to see what the higher term time frames are saying in this case. Okay, we do see a little bit of signs of a macro reversal going on right here. It's kind of like that sundial thing that Scott Carney likes to look at. I'd just be looking for this one to kind of bake sideways within this range. And then yes, the general disposition would be an upside resolution, but you're asking specifically about a 4 hour and an hourly. What are we looking at on a 4 hour right here? Looks like it wants to come back down and test around yesterday's lows, like 1690-ish region, maybe to 1680-ish region. Could it break down a little bit further than that? Yes. Again, if we're looking at the daily, I mean, this one, can easily come back down to the bottom side of the range, but I would give it a chance to bake within this range overall. I'm not necessarily like full on bearish on it, just short term, probably a little bit of a pullback. And you do have a pretty obvious bias buster right there, if you will, right around $18, basically yesterday's high. Above yesterday's high, I'd be looking for this one to pop back up to about 1880-ish region, but it does look a little bit more like that. This one wants to have the next move to the downside. Hourly hidden bearish divergence confirmed on the last high, but that one's the easy move on that one's already played out. Does the buy hourly have it? It looks like it has potential. Yes, that's our high. That's our last high right there. And yeah, we are printing massively higher highs on RSI in comparison to that. So that probably does play out as well, although not necessarily confirmed just yet. 3 hour, same thing. Yeah, I'd be looking for next move back down somewhere around like 1680-ish region. Maybe try for a bounce there. But if you're looking at the daily, I mean, again, this one can come back down significantly to like $15 and still remain okay long term, I guess. It is trying to put in a nice healthy consolidation after a big impulsive move up. What's up, Darren Garish? When Krown uses the hourly as a dependent variable in analysis, it's bad. I'm trying to do my best for the Boolaws right now. I feel like I'm running out of hopium for the Boolaws here, as I know that's what a lot of people want to be looking at. But I do stand by what I said yesterday. As long as Bitcoin does hold above $32,000, I do still think that 36,000 is in the cards, and that would be verified, or at least greatly helped by a move back above yesterday's pivot at 33.7, which it looks like we probably do give a little bit of a try of there. Anything below that is obviously just going to be another lower high, and to be fair, even a 4 hour is not, I mean, the 4 hour doesn't have the same structure at all. looks like absolute dog shit right there, to be fair. Just confirming another drive of hidden bearish divergence is usually not the best thing of all time, but Again, above 33.7, I would be looking for that move up to about 36, maybe 36.5, and that can set up things a little bit more, again, based off of our daily and 2-day bullish divergence drives that are in play, already confirmed on the daily, not necessarily on the 2-day. So fair enough. I mean, that's decent, and while I am calling it hopium, I mean, that is relevant to be speaking about as well, and it is very tradable. In fact, I would trade it myself. But in this case right here, I mean, what are we closer to doing? Are we closer to breaking to the downside? Or are we closer to testing the upside? Well, a lot closer to breaking to the downside, to be fair. So it is relevant to be a little bit more on the protective side, we'll say. Yeah, there we go. That being 2 charts, nice name, sir. HE double hockey sticks, my DGAN lifestyle change has finally rewarded me with a live Krown video. Fucking nice, man. Much love, circa 2018. Holy shit, man. Well, goddamn. An OG of OGs. Good to see you around still. And if you've survived the last 3 years, congratulations, man. That is very impressive in and of itself, man. Like I recognize pretty much everyone who's been around and who's been actively speaking with since 2018 and 2019 especially. And for all you guys have seen like pretty much a lifetime of markets here. You've seen what would take about 20 years in traditional markets to kind of populate itself all within a few years in cryptocurrency. And that is just insane experience in a really, really short amount of time, which is fucking awesome, man. So hell yeah. And shout out to all the ones who are surviving out there, as this is, I would ask you this, does this remind you of 6,000 in 2018? Just out of curiosity, I'm not saying that it is or isn't, but I'm just curious if that's the general disposition within this market. I think it would be a little bit early to say that because we've only been within this range for about a month and a half here in comparison to 2018, which was, spending the majority of the year bouncing off $6,000 level. Possible. But I do see that kind of be thrown around, and I don't necessarily know that I'd agree with that just yet. I think it'd have to really go on for a lot longer of a time. Nero Strutton, what's up, man? Bro, can we check out GRT 4-hour daily? Yes, we can look at GRT right now. Let me mark that one down. Okay, we got GRT right here. That one actually was on was that on the winners list or the losers list today? Must have been on the winners list, man. One of the better bounces from the last couple days, it looks like. And do we have that bullish divergence come off the lows? We do. Daily Jewel is lined up for a buy signal. In fact, we had one right here. Typically, the second one is the good one. Someone had a really good question about that in the Discord earlier today. Yesterday. I think it was Steve-O. Or Steve, I think it was Steve. Steve, show yourself, sir. But yeah, this is kind of what I'm talking about, and also accompanied by bullish divergence come off the low of 3 drives variety and daily TSI trending up as well. This one looks decent for another continuation drive. I'd say this would be a good example of an altcoin that's acting relatively well in comparison to most things within this market. This would be one that I'd be interested. I mean, I'm not going to play it myself, but if I were making comparisons, it's probably going to benefit a little bit more from any sort of perceived short-term bullishness from Bitcoin. And yeah, I'd be looking somewhere around about 66.5 cent, above 66.5 cent on a daily closure. It starts to look decent, for another test of around the top side of the range at about 80 cents. But again, if Bitcoin breaks down, I don't think that this thing's going to not break down with it, to put it bluntly. But this would be a good example of one of the ones that are acting relatively well. And we see several signals, several indicators suggesting that this one actually does have more on it. Here's what the short-term timeframes look like. Yeah, 4-hour looks good. 4-hour looks good. I really, this is a very respectable bounce. We see it increasing on volume to the upside here too. Good. I would be looking for this one to try a little bit north. And that does bode well for Bitcoin, I do believe. The more healthy altcoins that we see on the same side of Bitcoin, the better. I mean, health is like, do you call it like health after going down like 50%? I don't know about that, but you know what I mean. Relatively speaking, in the short-term timeframes, yes. So yeah, that would be another point, I suppose, towards a little bit of an upside potential. Anyways, let's see what else we got. Wolf's 359 Survivor. What's up, man? Crown Doggers. What's up, man? Keep network, please. Any chart? Okay. We'll look at Keep here. Whoops, that's not you. Keep. Is this Keep network? Okay, got it on, I guess, Kraken. This would not be an example of a relatively strong one. Jesus Christ, man. Holy fuck. What the hell? What? This is a pump and dump, man. This is just a pure fucking pump and dump. It pumps really, really goddamn hard though. Jesus. Look, if Bitcoin takes that 33.7 to the upside, I'd probably be looking for this one to pop up significantly. To like 33 cents, 33 and a third or so, maybe even more towards 38 cent, depending upon how how Bitcoin does there. But goddamn, that is a pump and dump chart if I ever saw one. Good news is though, is that I suppose the perceived good news is that you are within your typical pumpy area or somewhere around there. So that would be a little bit on the better side. But looking at a 4-hour right here, do we see any signs of slowing down? Kind of. I do like this low volatility swing at the lows right here on a nice consolidation. Could it put in a higher low? Perhaps yes. But if we are looking at the short-term timeframes, you have a very obvious sort of point to be kind of managing off of, either the high of what I would imagine is probably yesterday, or on a 4-hour closing basis about 2840-ish region. I'd imagine, again, that coincides with Bitcoin at around 33.7. If Bitcoin takes out that level, I'd probably look for this one, to pick it up somewhere into like the mid 30s or so. And again, this one can bounce pretty damn aggressively. You see how this one moves, but it is a pump and dump, to be quite honest with you. All right, let's see what else we got. We got Feltima. What's up, Feltima? XRP is looking like it has some serious life in it. No. All right, let's look at some XRP over here. I always like when people ask a question like that. Does XRP looks good? No. It's like you're going to ask a question and then disagree with the question to begin with. I know that that's just like a turn of phrase, but to like my American mind, my American brain, it's like I'm gonna pose a question and then immediately say no. It's like, what do you mean? I don't know what you mean, sir. We haven't even got through it just yet. All right. Anyways, you're saying it's up on Bitcoin as well. XRP always backtests its breakout. Am I smoking hopium, or is it finally time? This would not be an example of one of the better acting altcoins in my opinion, man. Again, I imagine this one's just going to be picked up by the strength in the broad market, not necessarily on its own. I know that you're talking about this. I'm guessing you're talking about, or sorry, where would your backfill be? Or it likes to test its breakout, you're saying. Okay, well, where's its breakout? On a weekly, do you mean? I mean, this one didn't just test the breakout. It shattered below the breakout, to be fair. I imagine you're talking about this area right here. Is what I'd be guessing. Anyways, if we go down to the short-term timeframes, or at least what timeframes were you looking at? Oh, you weren't looking at any timeframes. The best hoping for this one is that, hey, the lower-term timeframes actually do look a little bit better than Bitcoin. We do have a low, we do have a high, we do have a higher low, and if it does push through this area right here at 64.7 cents, we do have a higher high by definition. I'd be looking at a move towards 72 cents, 72.30-ish region. Again, that very likely gets accompanied by a Bitcoin move up. Let's call it above 33.7. In this case, you got a big area to be aware of, right around about 72.5, 73 cent region. Best case scenario on a Bitcoin, like continuation of bounce, would be probably like 80 cents or so. But do I think that you're smoking the hopium? I'm not even sure where the hopium is right here, to be honest with you. If Bitcoin fails, this one will fail as well. If Bitcoin pulls through, at least on the short-term timeframes, you'll see this one bounce up to those areas that we just spoke about. If it does break down, where's the next sort of areas of interest to the downside? I'm curious. You don't want to know. Back below 50 cents, it looks like. But give Bitcoin a chance here. I do think it's relevant to give Bitcoin a chance, especially on the short-term timeframes here. And then if things do fail, I mean, just get ready for a potential just nuke situation to the downside, because this is we've really worn out our welcome on the range lows for like this amount of time. Okay, let's see. Sav Dylan says Tata Motor. Oh wait, hold on. Tata. Hold on. How do I know this name? Is it what I think it is? No, it's not. It's not what I think it is. Okay. Oh man, I thought it was like one of the. Man, what was it? TTM. Something I used to trade in traditional market. I don't think it was this though. All right, what are we looking at right here? Or what time frame are you looking at? Daily. Okay, daily. What do long term? Let's see what the long term looks like. Long term does look like we do have a strong reversal in place. I like the increase in volume on the upside long term. I'm just curious what the weekly says. Yeah, weekly's okay. I'd generally be looking for a sideways consolidation here. Probably trades a little bit sideways and down short term, maybe back down to like 310 or so, maybe 305. Anywhere around there is fine, but I do look at that as a solid base. I'd be looking for a higher low anywhere around the 21 exponential average on the weekly. I know you didn't ask about the weekly, but I kind of need to see it here in order to get a better idea of what's going on. Golden Cross Golden Cross is already confirmed. So as long as you're made above the 21, I play this one macro to the upside with majors areas of interest. Short term, I guess, would be 377.5 to the upside, and then long term would be about 440-ish region. On the daily, I'm kind of a little bit stumped on the daily. If I had to call the daily, I'd basically say the same thing as the weekly, sideways and down, but I'd be looking for higher lows. I'm not bearish on this, to be very, very frank. I do really, really like this one as far as weekly goes, but can it play out some sideways and down on the daily? Yeah, I'd just be looking at that as a bit of a setup long term. All right, let's see. Smash the likes and my keyboard. New core 4 hour. Appreciate that, man. And holy shit, like asking people to like and subscribe actually works. Yesterday was probably the biggest sub day I think I've seen on this channel for a while. And also liking, like, did the same thing too. Like, what the actual hell? It's that easy? Is that why everyone's always saying, make sure to like and subscribe and tickle the bell? I guess it actually does work. Anyways, appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate that. it really does make a difference for this channel's health, I suppose. Looking at new core right here, looks like we are trying to put in that higher low that we spoke about the other day. A little bit of a short-term rejection right here. I would look for this one to base back down around just below 94 bucks. I'm not necessarily bearish on this one. Again, long term, I really like this chart. There's nothing bearish about this chart long term. You're looking at a 4-hour and daily. Let's see what the 4-hour says. 4-hour, yep, very likely does come back down and try for a bit of a base right around 93.5 or so. But I would be looking for to essentially try to confirm a higher low on the daily at that point, and then trade a little bit of sideways and probably up anywhere between 90 and 105 is a nice healthy consolidation. Hey, there you go, Bitcoin above 33. All right, Bitcoin Bulas, let's pull through here, baby. Show me that girthy green dildo on the hourly. I want to see how big this shish pop can get, baby. Anyways, looking at the weekly, again, I do generally like this chart, so I'd remain long-term bullish on it. Short-term, a little bit of sideways, a little bit of downside, but be on the lookout for a nice pivot on the short-term timeframes to confirm a higher low on the higher-term timeframes. That would start to look pretty damn good to me. Setting up not necessarily for this month, maybe not even for July, but probably August, September. This one, I would be looking for it to just continue on with the mega macro rally, because this is very good right here. When you see a 12-year long consolidation, man, I like that. Especially when it's been resolved, in a pretty obvious format. That's usually, that's usually pretty damn good. Going back to Bitcoin over here, let's see what we've done thus far. We have done absolutely nothing, but we have another low in place. It is a lower low that is on the hourly. Oh dear Lord. Oh dear Lord. Do we see any divergences coming in right here? No, we don't. No, we also don't. I'm trying my hardest for the hopium right now, believe me. But again, all jokes aside, this is it's not the best looking right here, to be fair, but it is respectable, at least from a trading perspective. As long as we kind of bake within this region right here without breaking below about 32 200-ish region. Below there, I do look for a retracement somewhere back down around about 31, basically low 31,000 bucks. So fair enough. All right, cool. Let's see what else we got. Hex Outlaw, what's up, Hex Outlaw? Hello, sir. Hope all is well. Yeah, man. It could have been better with my sleeping habits. As you can see, I'm struggling with my language today, but oh well. The show must go on, sir. Anyways, can you check Hex on the 4-hour and daily? We aren't immune to red dildos. LOL. Looking for a low, thinking 6 cents. No problem, man. Okay, let's see. We got what is it? Hex over here. Wait, is this what? No, we are looking at the wrong Hex. That is not the right Hex. Let's go with this one right here. All right, let's see what Hex is doing. Is Hex immune or not? It looks like it is not. But if we go down to the 4-hour, let's see what we got over here. I would be looking for this one to trade a little bit lower, actually, 7 cents or so. And I want to kind of go over the greater scale on this one, because we actually called this one pretty damn well here. Let's get rid of this. That's just getting in the way for right now. But basically, we did call a move up to about 10 cents. We pretty much got that move, just about 0.2 of a cent shy of that. And then we set a pullback. I set a pullback back down to about 7 cents. We are basing off there on our daily, it looks like. Yeah, right around there, it looks like. Do I think that we could trade lower? This one's a little bit difficult here, because the short-term timeframes do not look too hot, actually. And I probably would be looking for another retest somewhere around the lows of a couple days ago on the 22nd of June. Anywhere around about 7 cents is fair game. The thing with this is, though, is that... Well, what is the thing with this one? Let's go back to the weekly. The weekly, is this one going to retrace for more? I don't know if I'm comfortable saying that just yet. Where would my line in the sand be on this one? I think below 7 cents is kind of my line in the sand on this one, is what I'd stick with. 4-hour is showing definite slowdown right here. I mean, we do see, just lower highs in place right now, so you do kind of have to follow the trend. I suppose I would be looking for, at the very best, a sideways market in this one for a little bit of time. Using about 8.3 cents as a bit of a pivot here. As long as you're below there, essentially, I'm looking for sideways at best. At worst, you come back down, take out the 22nd of June low, and at that point, I'd be looking for continuation down to 5.5, maybe 5.7 cents, something like that, before the next sort of relevant bounce. But I'm not saying that bounce is going to be. I wouldn't necessarily say that the bounce is going to be the next one before new all-time highs. I just want to see it after that. But for right now, sideways and down is what I'd be looking for on this one. We've hit most of our targets right here. I'd probably be looking for this one to take a bit of a breather. This one was acting relatively well while the rest of the market was not, and I believe that we just confirmed another drive of bearish divergence right there, which is also not good. A little bit of phantom div in this case, but I've seen those work out enough times now that I do put a fair bit of weight on that. So, again, as long as you're below about 8.3, I think that best base case scenario is like a little bit of sideways, a little bit of downside, hope for a higher low at about 7 cents or so. All right, sweet. What else do we got, baby? What else do we got? All right, BK says, hey, Krown, check out AMP USD. Okay, so we're going to do AMP USD. Let me hit my marker over there, and let's pull up AMP USD right here. Now, what time frames did you want to look at? I think you wanted to look at 4-hour, daily, and weekly. Okay, cool. All right, so 4-hour, we do have a little bit of a base being built right around about 6 cent or 5.7 cent. Looks like I have a trend line. I very rarely draw on a diagonal trend line. I wonder what I was thinking right there. Seems like I was looking at the lower term timeframes on this. You must have asked about an hourly last time we spoke, but you asked about now a 4-hour, daily, and weekly, or maybe someone asked about that. Anyways, daily, do you still respect this in its current stature? I'm not so sure. I mean, long term, I do respect the uptrend. Yes. Technically speaking, the weekly bouncing okay thus far. I mean, it's not too impressive. 4-hour, I'd give it a chance to put in a low right here. I'd go with the overall trend here, give it the respect that I think, or at least that I typically give, in these sorts of situations, not because it's always right, but because it keeps you safe. In this case right here, I respect it as long as you're closing 4-hour deals, especially above the 200 simple. And I would be looking at this as likely trying to put another low and trade back up towards 7.25, 7.33 or so. Again, going to depend more or less what Bitcoin does, as is pretty much all altcoins. But yeah, it looks like it'll have a chance here. Top side of the range, about 7.4 cent again. So I'd be looking for a bit of sideways in there. I don't think this one's going to be like breaking out to new all-time highs anytime soon or anything like that. I do like the long-term trend, yes. But short-term, a little bit of sideways and a little bit of upside here. Maybe test back down to like 5.7 before it's all said and done. But until it breaks there, I'd give it some respect. I mean, this is not like the worst case scenario of all time. 4-hour TSI looking like it could turn up relatively easily. 4-hour RSI is trying to dig itself out of the bearish control zone. I typically do like this setup, at least for a bounce on low volatility, which we do see as well. So I'd give that a little bit of of leeway right there. Again, mostly based off of Bitcoin, depending upon what Bitcoin does here. So I need to see Bitcoin above 33.7 at the very least before that becomes even relevant. Okay, all right. Ben Fried says, do CCL. They have great food and fun. Okay, great food and fun makes for good charts, right? CCL, Carnival Corporation on New York Stock Exchange. Do they have good food at a carnival? I'm not so sure about that, man. You must be going to different carnivals than me. Looking at the daily right here, I'd be looking for a little bit of sideways and down, probably back down to like 27.5. What time frame did you ask about? You asked about no time frame, actually. Let's go to the weekly, see what the long term looks like. Long term, I'm not a humongous fan of this. I do think sideways and down is the next move. Like I said, a little bit below 27. I believe it was on the daily. Here's where it starts to get like actually very bearish on it. Below about 24.5 bucks. That's where this one starts to become very bearish. You can see that this was kind of like your breakout right here. If you're looking at this as accumulation on the lows, in this format right here with this nice sunny triangle. I mean, technically that was in. The second that you break back down below that, this one is going to retrace a significant portion of this rally, maybe even all of it, all the way back down to 16 bucks. But I suppose for short term, I'd be looking sideways and down. Maybe give it the benefit of the doubt because this is getting to be a bit drawn out, and typically that is a good sign. But short term time frames like a 4-hour. Yeah, a bit of a base right here, and you do have an obvious range, which we can mark off with a nice horizontal right here, and that would be right around about 29.83 region. So as long as you're below there, it's hard to get excited about another trending move to the upside. But above there, yeah, this would start to look pretty damn good. Monthly's toppy, even as a death cross right there. Now, this is not going to be an example of a good death cross when you drop off this significantly before that. Typically not going to be respected that well, but if anything, the monthly looks toppy. So I would express concern with the higher term timeframes and have those pivots in mind. And until it proves itself above that, I'd play this one sloppy toppy. All right, let's see what else we got. Hey, thanks for that, Ollie. Appreciate that, man. I feel like I haven't had the best last couple of days as far as the old calls go, but it's gonna happen, man. And that is why we do the short videos after these streams as well. Make sure that I cover the scenarios that matter most. In this case, yeah, Bitcoin's still gonna give it a try here. It looks like. So we haven't been wrong just yet. Nate says, can you look at GSAT daily and weekly? Bought 169 yesterday because it's a nice number. All right, I like it. GSAT. What is this thing? What is this thing? Global Star. Where the fuck do you find all of these things, man? All right, and you bought 169. Great number. So you basically bought support after what looks like potentially a... Oh, nice. Very, very nice. Oh, yeah, very, very nice. Okay, so you're playing the breakout right here. I like this. Now, I don't like playing breakouts myself, but this is the way to play it if you are going to play it. You basically bought the break above the range highs right here. You literally bought it almost to the T, about 4 cents higher than that, but that looks still pretty damn good. Yeah, I do like this one. I think that you probably trade up short term towards about $2, 205. It looks like. you know, is that where we got rejected from yesterday? It looks like actually maybe yes, but I'd give this one the benefit of the doubt right here. Using 165 as a base, you know, very minimal risk on that, 4-cent risk, and your potential profit. I mean, realistically, you're probably looking at a move back up somewhere around the highs, like 235, maybe even all the way up to 275 region. See what the weekly looks like here. Yeah, oh, okay, I'm glad I went to the weekly. Weekly, very, very good. Very, very good. So I don't know what time frame you took this trade off of. It probably daily and weekly, it sounds like. But the weekly, I do like golden cross right here on a consolidation, a very healthy consolidation after a macro reversal on the weekly on volume. Good. So I don't know how long this one's going to take, but I generally would be favoring some continuation of the upside north of $2, probably like 235, maybe even all the way to like 275 region. Would I be calling like a reversal like above these range highs right here? I don't know, not anytime soon at the very least. So seems like seems like you're in a pretty damn good position for that. Those are the kind of nice breakout trades that you can get where you just have minimal risk on them, and you can have some pretty nice upside for you. I mean, that's almost like almost like a 2x there if you do hit the prior highs. All right, cool. Let's see. Super Googly says, could the most hated chart, OMG BTC, we're going to do OMG BTC right here, be potentially forming the biggest W in shitcoin history if we look at the weekly? All right. So everyone's, not everyone, but a lot of people have been getting very excited or very vocal about these W formations. You know, the W formation is something that I almost never get, that I never hear about in other markets, funnily enough. You know, could this be a W? I suppose it could be. I mean, basically a W is just a double bottom, right? With a massive range high split in the middle. So how do you play something like that? Well, you really don't play it until you actually break the range highs in this case, or if you buy around the range lows, then, you know, you can kind of play a little bit of the, you can play the range, but you're not necessarily getting the breakout in this case, or at least it's not implied. So are we putting in one massive W? It is a potential, you know, it is a potential here, yes, but you're not going to confirm that until you get back above this region right here. I mean, I'm not a fan of this chart to put it bluntly. We see weekly TSI turning down right at the zero buys. I see weekly RSI confirming multiple drives of hidden bearish divergence, also getting rejected from the bullish control zone and putting a head and shoulders right there all at the same time. It's already coughed up the majority of that rally already, but realistically, man, I mean, this thing's a fucking dead heartbeat is what I look at. So could it be a W? It could be, I guess. But I mean, that's a little bit too much hopium, in my opinion. If this was going to be a W and act well, you would have expected it to take off right around here in early May. And that's, again, when like everything else was putting in, you know, their mega macro rallies, you know, some really, really impressive rallies. That was essentially around Bitcoin's high, Ethereum's high, you know, and pretty much everything else. And this thing wasn't even getting back above, you know, it's August 2020 highs, to be fair. So I don't look at that as a sign of strength. I don't look at that as anything good. And realistically, I fucking despise this chart, man. It's very bad. And here's a real chart. Remember, I mean, make no mistake about it. This is linear scale. And I find that it's best not to make excuses for shitcoins in general. Yeah, some of them do end up being pretty damn good, but I don't believe that this is one of them. This one's had its chance. It had its day in 2017. And this is what you're going to see for a lot of the altcoins of this cycle. Like, memorize this chart. You're going to see a lot of fucking altcoins in this cycle look pretty much exactly like this in a couple years. And what I mean by that is you get this first major move to the upside during the, you know, bull market euphoria. Then you get your first fucking pump and dump, and then it just turns into the dead heartbeat on your after your complacency bounce right here. So that's really what you know, I'd be concerned with if I'm playing altcoins in this market right now. Like, understand that the majority of them, the strong majority of them, probably 90% plus, are going to end up looking like this. Some of them will not. Some of them will be obviously very good, and they'll look like maybe a Link, although maybe not right now, or, you know, some of the other ones that were acting pretty damn well over the past 3 years. But this is not one of them, and this is not the minority. It is certainly the majority, and you can find several examples of this. And if you were around in 2017, you remember that this one was incredibly popular. This one and Neo, I remember specifically, were very, very popular. Omisi Go was popular because they had partnerships in Southeast Asia with McDonald's or something, which just turned out to be bullshit, or I don't even know if it was true. Who knows? Doesn't matter. The chart is what the fucking chart is, right? And then they said that like Vitalik was the supervisor of the project too, or I don't know. They showed Vitalik with like a skateboard that had an OMG like sticker on it, and that was supposed to mean something. You know, this one was thought of as like a very fundamentally strong coin, is what I'm trying to say. And this is a result. Same thing for Neo too. I mean, Neo just I probably don't even have it on my list anymore. I certainly don't have it. Shouldn't it does not deserve to be on the list anymore. But if we go look at Neo, what did Neo do? Yeah, I mean Neo didn't even get back up to its 2018 highs, and I imagine the Bitcoin parent is even worse. I mean this is just garbage. This thing's going for the full retrace at some point. And again, this is what makes me, really consider that Bitcoin can nuke here to the downside. I mean, because most altcoins do look some variation of this, and this is just bad, just fucking bad, man. I don't care what Bitcoin does at this point. This one is just not gonna. It's just another fucking monthly lower high. All that it is. It's all that it is. Very bad. Very fucking bad. And again, remember this thing. Neo, Ant shares, way back when. This one was like the Chinese Ethereum. It's gonna go to the moon and beyond. No. Not even close. I mean, this thing traded up all the way to $200, and it will probably never see that ever again in its life. Maybe not even over $100 ever again. Very fucking bad. Very, 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 very bad. And that is going to be the majority of altcoins, from this cycle. The question is, does Bitcoin put in another rally here and save the market for a little bit longer or not? That's really what I'm thinking. Okay, Stylix here says, didn't mean to hit you with a heavy question there. Wait, what? What heavy question, man? I don't think. I don't see a heavy question there, man. What seems to be the issue, sir? It's all good, man. You don't have to apologize for that. Can we look at Aave USD? Yes, let's look at Aave USD daily weekly. All right, let's see. Know the ticker by heart now, seeing as I've looked at it so many times. And you're looking at daily weekly. Again, non-example of a good bounce. Bounce already rejected. Closing on mega new lows. I mean, this is. If you're trying to create a bearish case for this market right now, this would be a damn good one. Now, to be fair, the weekly is pretty damn good. I mean, god damn, that is filthy. Jesus Christ, that is filthy. But if we're creating a case for the general market here, this one would certainly be one in the bearish side. I mean, this is just fucking bad. Got rejected by the 377, so that's your yearly moving average. Stomping this one out. Death cross on the way. Trend is down on pretty much all time frames that matter right now. Daily Jewel just gave a continuation, well, I guess maybe not just, but about 6 days ago, a week ago, gave a continuation haul to your short signal. I mean, that could have relevantly already played out. Let's see. I mean, that's basically this move, right? Yeah, that's a 50% move. Okay, that's probably played out. Monthly's in bounty area, to be fair. So what do we look like? What do we look on the very short-term timeframes? Yeah, bounce does not look too damn hot here. Again, it depends what Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin takes out 3370 to the upside, you're probably going to see this thing put in another rally up to 250. But make no mistake about it, this is certainly an example of a relatively weak one, especially in the last month or so here, which is what I think matters the most. Like, how do these altcoins act when Bitcoin turns south? That's the real question. When Bitcoin puts in like a real move to the downside, how do altcoins ask? And this one's not acting well, not acting well at all. So if Bitcoin breaks down, you're gonna find this thing. I mean, you're gonna find this thing like you're gonna find this thing back down around like 110, maybe even more than that. I mean, that's another 50% move. It's already, and look, weekly Jewel gave you a hot or short signal right here, 10th of May. Actually, that did get the pretty much high. How much have we traded down since then? I'm just curious. I'm not saying that. Oh my God, 79%. What's another 10% on top of that? Just stack it on, baby. Yeah. Again, it depends what Bitcoin does here, but if Bitcoin does turn sour, you're going to see this thing go for probably another 50% pullback. Pullback, yes, a 50% pullback. 50% maybe crash would be the more accurate terminology. Well, there we go. All right. Sorry, man. I don't mean to hit you with that, sir. Cole Evans says, hey, Krown, what's up, man? Can you look at Cardano USD? Yes, we can look at Cardano USD, Binance 4-hour, 12-hour daily. Okay. And I think you had a little bit more on top of that comment as well. So let's just go double check. Hey, we have an example of something that's actually a little bit better here. Hey, look at that. We do have a low, we do have a high, we do have a higher low, and we have a higher high by definition. Not bad. One of the better looking altcoins right here, all things considered. So what does that mean? It means that if Bitcoin does pull through here above 33.7, we probably do look for this one to be a bigger beneficiary of that. Generally speaking, I'd be looking for a move somewhere back around about 140 on the short-term timeframes. Daily is, definitely having a better move than most. Again, we did... Every once in a while that TA bullshit works. We did pretty much hit our target to the downside, $1 to the goddamn T. Do we have any sort of divergences here building up? No, we do not. Unfortunately, momentum oscillator is all kind of spent. But you know, if Bitcoin takes out 33.70 to the upside, I'd probably be looking for this one to pop back up even north of 140, 143 on the daily, and then this range starts to look okay. But again, if Bitcoin breaks down, I don't think that this one's going to hold through. Weekly looks a lot better than most. Still though, this is still looks very extended. To be fair, what does the monthly look like? Monthly is still okay, I suppose. Yeah. We didn't take out last monthly low. In fact, we do still have those nice rising wicks for now. Again, depends on what Bitcoin does. And if Bitcoin does break down, I'll probably be looking for this one to retest $1 lows or so. If it starts to break $1 lows, anywhere below the 200 simple, this thing's going to go for a mega retrace after that portion. Really no support on this one on the weekly until about 50 cents or so after that, maybe even a little bit lower than that. But give it the benefit of the doubt, this one would be a good example of one of the better acting ones. I certainly agree with that. It's just, if Bitcoin turns down, I don't suspect that any altcoins are going to be having like the best time of all time. All right, let's see. Apodynamic is back. He says fwonk on the daily. Is it time, sir? Okay, fwonk. What is this? Liberty Media Corporation. All right, not familiar with this one. And you're looking at this on the daily. Okay, gotcha. Daily's looking good. Yeah. Hey, I'd be looking for short term for 47.5. What about long term? Where are we at? Oh, very, very good. Okay, yes. Is it ready? Weekly says we're fucking close, man. This is a really good setup, right? These are the setups that I really, really like. If you are going to look for a potential, in this case, macro breakout into a blue sky breakout, weekly hidden bullish divergence right at the bullish control zone. Good. Weekly TSI in the bullish buy zone as well. However, this one's still to the downside. I don't want to see that one turn up as well, but it probably won't happen until you actually do break north of your weekly resistance, which is about 47.5. That is our daily target, or that would be my daily target. In this case, you do see a pretty obvious ascending triangle at a very high level. This is good. Reaccumulation basically around your prior highs, which is rather healthy. And I'd be looking for this one to confirm a break again above about 47.5 or so on a weekly. And then you could probably target a nice move up to new all-time highs. And while this probably isn't the totality of the move, this is where I'd be looking for the first sort of stop at around $52.5. Very, very good. Let's see what the monthly looks like. Monthly not as obvious, but I still respect it. Monthly oscillators looking good, looking very good there. So yeah, that's probably one of the better charts we've seen today, actually, all things considered. Hey, what's up, Mr. Sebastian? Mr. Gwynn says ALF 30-minute 4-hour, please. Okay, that's like the lowest time you've ever asked for, sir. What are you doing over here? Alfie on Nasdaq. Okay, you're looking at was it hourly and 4-hour? 30-minute and 4-hour. Well, I mean, this is traditional markets. I mean, 30 minutes actually was like a higher term time frame to me when I was trading traditional markets. I was trading mostly at 15 and 5 minute. In this case, I would be looking for short term sideways and down, somewhere back down around about 97.5. Now in traditional markets, actually, I don't really care for the I really don't care for the 4-hour. It's actually the hourly that I kind of like. In this case, short term. Yeah, short term, I would be looking for this one to try for another base at about 11.30. On the 4-hour, it doesn't look as obvious because I did say down around about $10 or just below $10 at like 9.75. Do I think that's possible? Yes, but I'd give the short term a little bit of a little bit of leeway here too. Here's what I want to see on the short term. If you do hold the lows right here at about $11 or 11 or 11.09, I'd give it a chance to go sideways. A little bit of sideways and down. However, I would be looking at this as a generally healthy consolidation. On the short-term timeframes, I'm curious how this looks on a daily. Yeah, daily's hard to hate. I mean, this is in a blue sky breakout territory. Yes, it is ridiculous. Yes, it is a parabolic blow off, but can it go for more? I don't necessarily think that we've seen the top here just yet. It looks like, at least from the data that we have. If it does break below this region, then yes, I would be looking for that move down to the 9. I'd probably be looking for about 960, 970-ish region if that were to happen. But I actually do favor the short-term timeframes, and this is why I looked at the higher-term timeframes, like the daily in this case, because long-term it does look like it probably has another move to the upside in it. Now, keep in mind, this is a parabolic rally here, so this one will end in tears. But for now, does it have a little bit more? I think so, probably yes. Did the stream die? Motherfucker! Oh, motherfucker! Is it actually dead? It says excellent connection still. I think it's okay. I think it's okay right now. We good? All right, we're good. Okay, thank God. Sorry about that, man. Hopefully Mr. Gwynn heard that. But basically what I'm saying, Mr. Gwynn, is this one is a parabolic rally, right? So if we're looking at a parabolic rally, it will eventually end in tears. But right now, do we see anything resembling like a top in place? I don't think so. No, I'd give the short-term timeframes a bit of a sideways, a bit of sideways and a little bit of downside, maybe down to about $11. Below $11, I'd look for a greater retracement into like the mid 9s. But until that happened, I generally would favor another continuation move to the upside. There's no real targets to be given on something like this, which is in quite literally really a blue sky breakout. So, and it's also relatively new as well. So you could even consider this price discovery. So I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. Sideways and down short term, probably does try for some more upside long term, and just be cognizant that this is, not going to end very well, most likely. but at least for now, it's okay, I suppose. All right, there he is. Hey, what's up, Caretaker? I see you, my friend. And Mr. Plums, there he is. Nimbo's here too. By the way, Nimbo, let's go look at some gold for you. All right, so let me just mark this one down. By the way, massive thank you to Nimbo. He's helping me out with the timestamps. All right, we got gold coming up here. And actually, I already have it on my list right here. Let's see. Where are you? There you are, 1777. And what do we have? Okay, so gold is very interesting to me here. I do think it could potentially come down a little bit more, anywhere around 1730, anywhere around 1730 to 1750 is fair game. The main message that I want to have on gold, though, is that I don't hate this as it stands. I don't really see a real reason to be like macro bearish on it, especially as long as it's above about 1730. I do think we can test down there. That's completely fine. In fact, daily looks like it might just do, 1750 kind of seems like the big level right there. But overall, you have a very easy pivot to the upside on this one. And that's just going to be your last weekly rejection right around 1900. Above there, you start to look for moves back up towards 1950, 1960. You probably played a little bit of a range. Same thing over here. This one very fucking aggressive, to be fair. And then long term, it sets it up. And I mean, long term on this one, you're probably looking at monthly, quarterly. And in this case right here, I mean, this is okay. I mean, we do have a monthly higher low in place, and this just looks like a consolidation after a macro breakout. So I give it the benefit of the doubt in this case. But short term, can it come back down to the downside? Yeah, absolutely. And I wouldn't have any major issues with this one as long as it remains, again, above about 1730 or so. Below there, yeah, you got some problems. But, in this case right here, you give it the benefit of the doubt when you see a big mega breakout like this. All right, let's see. What else we got? I think we got some more chatties over here. And Mr. Abbott is back. He wants to look at Shopify on the daily, looking powerful as well. Let's look at a little bit of Shopify right here, symbol SHOP. And we got it on New York Stock Exchange. Oh, wow, powerful. Holy shit. Oh, but that is a quarterly, and you're looking at what? You're looking at a daily. Probably good as well. Yeah, very, very good here. I believe we were bullish on this one a couple weeks ago when we looked at it, and I'd remain bullish on it, but I don't necessarily think that the daily is ready to actually push through here. Yes, I do like the volume on this move thus far, but is it ready to continue with trend like literally outside of this current base? I'm not so certain about that. Weekly I like. Weekly though, I'd probably be looking for a little bit of sideways here, to be honest with you. Sideways and up and let it float its way. Again, there's nothing bearish about the weekly at all. I love this setup right here. It's kind of the same setup that we've called out many times that have led to some pretty damn good results. Same thing on weekly TSI. I really, really like this on expanding volatility on new all-time highs. Good, but I'm not certain that the daily is ready to just rock and roll from this exact moment. Wouldn't be surprised to see this thing trade back down to like 1435, put in a little bit of sideways and down, and then long term up. The long term is what I feel very good about on this one though. Quarterly, as we just looked at, was phenomenal. Monthly, same. I mean, there's nothing fucking bearish about the monthly, man. This is good. It very likely does continue to new all-time highs coming into July and maybe even August. But if you're looking at the daily specifically, which is what you asked for, I'd probably say a little bit of sideways and maybe some downside, but that's not in any way, shape, or form bearish. I want to be very deliberately clear about that. Frank Saint says, can I treat funny rates as a counter indicator? Longs getting paid means we're going down. Yeah. Since exchange's best interest is to wreck people. That's not how it works. No. And a lot of people don't understand this, and I'm not saying this to like be mean to you or anything like that. But funny rates is like a really misunderstood thing. When you're talking about a peer-to-peer exchange, what makes the funny rate is the differential between the index price and usually like the perpetual price. So it really doesn't have anything to do with probably what you're thinking, which is like, oh, there's more people long now, so that's why the funny rates are this way. No, typically it's actually a counter signal, if anything, meaning that when funny rates are high in the positive direction, meaning that shorts are getting paid. Well, it can be a good signal of like a local high in some cases, or just you should be looking for a little bit of downside. The same thing goes for negative rates, which is where longs get paid, but you really want to see it at extremes. And when I'm talking about extremes, I'm talking about like 0.1% or more in that direction as an absolute value. If you see that, yeah, statistically speaking, you do see big pivots on price action around those times. It's pretty damn solid. But if you're thinking about like the exchange sets the interest rate, no, not at all. That is the wrong way to be thinking. And the exchange isn't what wrecks you. The exchange is not what wrecks you. Your trades is what wrecks you. So I'm not saying this to like be your fucking dad or something, but the exchange is not taking the other side of your trade. You have to understand this if you're trading on like a peer-to-peer exchange. They're not taking the exchange doesn't trade. They just facilitate a goddamn trade. You're trading with either a liquidity provider or another trader or some sort of like quant firm or whatever. I mean, it could be anyone. Who the hell knows? It doesn't matter. You don't need to know the other person on the side of your trade. You just need to know what you're doing. And again, it's not the exchange that wrecks you. It's your own decisions that wreck you if you get wrecked. The funny rate is only a function of the differential between the index price, which is typically a combination of a bunch of major spot exchanges like Gemini typically is included, Finex, Coinbase, and Bitstamp are usual players in that, and the perpetual price. And the differential between that is what creates the funny rate. All right, Nero Strutton says, Krown, I'm confused about the Joule buy signal. If we had just saw the Wyckoff Spring area, would we see a buy signal later, or are these two different scenarios? I mean, it's you'd expect to see something. You wouldn't. They're two mutually exclusive things. Like, you don't need a Wyckoff accumulation in order to get a Joule buy signal. Like the Joule is not like a Wyckoff identifier. It will line up with those a lot of the time naturally, but I want to be very clear. I mean, you could get a fucking Joule buy signal in the middle of an uptrend. I mean, it doesn't need to be a Wyckoff accumulation thing. But if you're talking about this right here, what I would expect to see and what I feel a lot better about if you are going to look at this as Wyckoff accumulation, so I want to see this start to curl around. Can it happen still? Yes. It would require about probably like a $2,000 to $3,000 green dildo day today for that to happen. And, it could happen by end of day, yes. But fair enough. I mean, yeah, that's really all that I have to leave you with right there. Possible, yes, but I need to see I basically need to see Bitcoin back above about $35,000 today. If that happens, yeah, it's gonna play through. I mean, does that mean that Wyckoff is confirmed and this is the accumulation? I don't know if I'd say that. I'd say I'd feel a lot more comfortable about looking for a move towards $39,000 or $40,000 and keeping the Bulaw's hopes open. But remember, best case scenario in my opinion for the Bulaws is what I've been saying for the last month and a half. Sideways, fucking sideways. I don't think Bitcoin's trending to the upside, making new all-time highs anytime soon. Wouldn't be even surprised to see Bitcoin not get to those mega targets that I see a lot of people talking about, by end of year. I mean, where did this all come from? Like, why did Bitcoin have to get above like $250,000 by end of year? Where does anyone know where that's coming from? Because that seems to be like the general, call, or some people are even saying some like $500,000 or $1 million. I think that's just ludicrous, and probably they don't even believe that themselves, I'd guess. But I've seen so many people say $250,000 by end of year. Where is that coming from? That's my question. Abidemic says, so I'm on the 3D space. Oh, you're in the 3D space. Like 3D printer? I've been tracking the major players in it, of which Triple D. I actually used to look at this one. I never traded it myself, but let's see. Is this one? Yeah, it is. It's 3D Systems. Yeah, that's right. Here's where this one's at right nowadays. Okay, Triple D just had a massive move. Could something similar be expected from SSYS being correlated? Okay, so basically you're saying that like the sector is moving up, but do you have like a sector index for this? I don't know. I'm not familiar with the 3D space. You got to look at the chart that's in front of you, because it doesn't necessarily work like that. If it's like a sector move, then yes, obviously, but maybe Triple D just came out with maybe they just came out with like a new product or something that, is going to be mind blowing or something, or maybe there's some sort of major expectation, at which case it's only going to be applicable for this. But this is a pretty damn good move right here, to be fair. All things considered, I really like this consolidation above the prior range highs on the weekly. This is going back the last 6 years actually to 2015, so pretty damn good right there. And this one very likely does continue back onto the highs of this rally and more. But if you're looking at the other one, let's just see what it looks like and try to come up with a corollary for it. Maybe they're correlated, maybe they're not. Yeah, definitely weak, as you can see. Definitely weak in comparison to it. So, these things do seem to be somewhat correlated with each other, but Triple D is the winner. This one is, kind of like a shitcoin to Bitcoin in a sense. It's like, it's not going to benefit as much from the upside moves, and it's going to get hammered on the downside moves, it looks like. This is not the one that I want to be in. This one has a pretty weird looking chart actually over a long period of time, but you give it the benefit of the doubt. And to be fair, I mean, just like Triple D, this one very likely does test up somewhere around $29, but in an upside move for Triple D, that one's probably gaining more on a percentage basis if I had to guess. But they basically got the same moves. I mean, this one just doesn't move as much because for whatever reason, people don't like it as much. Again, I can't speak towards that. I'd imagine that's more like fundamentally based in that case. Same sort of ideas like Bitcoin and just random shitcoin. Okay, cool. Fat Tad Rider says, "Hey, Krown, are you subject to an NDA in the confidentiality of a market maker agreement?" No. I mean, your firm's gonna have, okay, so if you're going off on my past, where I used to be a market maker, authorized trader, my firm would have like rules where it's like, don't take pictures of this, don't fucking post. We did have a rule like you can't post on social media, but that was my firm that made me sign that. And I don't even think that was like a NDA. I know that like I couldn't talk about like their market making software, like the intricacies of it, if that counts, but pretty much everyone kind of has about the same sort of thing that they're doing anyway, so it's not very difficult to figure out. I mean, look, everyone's kind of running off the Black-Scholes formula and doing like a slight variation to it and then trying to pull an arbitrage that way. I mean, that's pretty much the name of the game. But was I subject to an NDA like by law? No, I don't think so. At least not to my knowledge. Just my personal firm would like have those rules. That's not like I don't know if that's like consistent amongst any other firm. It's not something that we really ever focused on or spoke about. So I to be honest with you, this is like the first time I've even thought about it. But yeah, we did have some rules. And when I was on the floor of the exchange, to be fair, we did have a rule that like you weren't supposed to take pictures. Now, that rule was never followed, to be honest with you. And I think you just get like a fine if that didn't happen. I mean, it's the same thing. Like you're not supposed to swear on the floor of an exchange as well. But, except for like some very outlier situations, no one ever gets fucking tagged with that. And everyone's saying like a 4-letter word every other, word that comes out of their mouth anyways. There was one story where this guy, this broker who I actually really liked, he was really fucking funny. And he treated me really well when I was young too. And his name was Steve. Yeah, his name was Steve. I probably shouldn't give out his last name, but if you were around there, you definitely fucking know him. You definitely know if you're on Arca. Steve the broker. I'll just name him as that. And he called a woman a cunt, and he got fined like I don't know, like 5 digits or something for that. I think it was like $15,000 or something. I think he like brought her in roses the next day too, and she said fuck you. So that's like the only time I've ever seen that rule get enforced. That comes to mind. Rami says, hi, Krown. Bought Bitcoin at 32.5. Do I manage risk based on the wick low if I'm going to bed knowing that I won't be up to look for at least an hourly close? I always face the same problem. This is a really bad way to do things, to be honest with you. So do I manage risk based on the wick low? Okay, so which wick low are you talking about first and foremost? Are you talking about just the low of this area right here? That's probably not going to work too well. Are you talking about this wick low right here? That could probably be a little bit better, but that's another $500. Sorry, not even another 500, but another $750 of potential risk against you. That's not a very good way as well. When you took this position, what were you looking for, and what were you going to be managing off of when you first took it? That would be the better question to be asking you. And again, I'm not saying this in a condescending way. It's just like you need to have this before you ever enter into a trade. And this is why I actually don't like taking trades like later in the day, because if I do get caught in it and I'm going to be going to sleep relatively soon, I don't like that, man. So typically speaking, if I'm in a trade and I want to go to sleep, I prefer sleep over trade. I think it's more important to get your sleep and like get your fucking mind right, of which I have not gotten the greatest nights of sleep the last couple nights here. It's too fucking hot. And so I'll just close the trade. I value that more, and I know, and for me, it's going to be better for me if I get a good night's sleep and then can trade, in a good mind state the next day, rather than trying to stay up and, baby this trade, which, realistically, I mean, what did you take this trade off to begin with? It seems like you bought 32.5, so you did basically buy the low right here. I mean, you could take a profit right now and be fine. Are you trying to hold this one on for like a potential breakthrough? That's fair enough. If you're gonna play that, I guess you could play it. Maybe you have a stop right below $32,000. It's not really based off of much though, so it's I probably wouldn't like it. I don't know. Let's see. Did I miss anything on this one? Do I manage risk based on the wick low if I'm going to bed knowing that I won't be up to look for at least an hourly close? Yeah, if that's the best that you can do. I mean, technically speaking, probably $32,000 is fine, or 32,200-ish region. But don't be surprised, like if you go to bed and you get taken out of your trade and it still goes in your direction anyways. That's why I really don't like that kind of stuff. It's like, it's unnecessary risk. You don't really need it. But you got a pretty damn good buy right there, and you're about $300-400 in profit. You're at one point about $500 in profit. Not bad, man. I mean, you can always reposition when you wake up too, man. You can always reposition. Yeah, maybe you miss out on some, but I don't know if you're looking for this to be like a fucking trend trade or like just just an hourly scalp. I don't know. If it was an hourly scalp, I think you kind of just take your profits around here and call it a good night. Wake back up tomorrow and look for the next opportunity, man. And yeah, maybe you missed out on some profits overnight. If you do, and you took what I just said, you're gonna hate me, but that's the way that I do things, just because I value that more, and I'd rather be safe than sorry. And the money's already in your hands, so fair enough. Now, if you're going for the trend trade, yeah, maybe you do play the position. I'm not a humongous fan of it, but yeah, I mean, you could do it. You could do it reasonably well. And again, you look at the 12 hour, it's like, I'm not so sure. Stetson says OXT USD. Sure. USD. What do we have right here? Let's go Binance. And you're looking at what you're looking. No time frame given. Yeah, this would be an example of a very bad altcoin. Very, very. Holy shit, this one's bad. Oh my god. Okay, this has got to be one of the worst altcoins we've seen today. So this one didn't just get hammered on the downside moves. It's completely coughed up its whole fucking parabolic rally starting in December. This is pathetic. This is not what you want to be in. Now, to be fair, when you do come back down to your multi-year lows, which this one goes back to 2020, you probably do get a pity bounce off this region. To be fair, I mean, this one can bounce back up to like 27 and a half cent, no problem. But when you're talking about relative strength in this market, this one is relatively weak. And it's not just relatively weak, this one's relatively a piece of shit in a mostly shitcoin market. So I think that kind of speaks for itself. Again, I'm just purely talking about charts here. I'm not talking about you as a person. You're probably great, you're probably amazing, or at least I'd hope so. Maybe you're Hitler, who the fuck knows? It's the internet. But looking at this right here, man, yeah, it probably does bounce off this level, but this is not the one that I want to be in. All things considered, depending upon the rest of the market here, namely Bitcoin, if Bitcoin pushes through 33.7, I would look for this one to find its way up to like 27 and a half. And, where would this one start to look like it's ready for another one of those pump phases? Not anytime soon. Like on the mega, on the greater scale. Here's your last major breakdown right here. I think that's probably best you do on an upside move. And that would be like assuming Bitcoin gets back up to like $40,000 or something, which is very questionable right now too. So take that as you will, man. But short term, it actually did have a decent bounce yesterday. You're going to try to put in a higher low here on the 4 hour, maybe. That's the best hoping that I can give you. And if you're looking at like the same areas, like a 33.7 on Bitcoin, you're looking at about 24 and a half on this one. So above there, yeah, you got a little bit of fun rallies up to north of 27 and hold your breath once again, because any sort of downside weakness from Bitcoin, that one's going to get absolutely smacked. All right, Abbott's back. Krown, don't doubt yourself. I don't know if these shorts feel forced, but if you recall your live TA, it was not wrong. You even posted the conservative target of 28,730, the low, sir, and gave conditions for the trap. Never led me astray. Hey, man, appreciate that. I do appreciate that. That's all that I should really be saying, man. I do appreciate that quite significantly. It makes me feel a lot more confident that the people are really making an effort to listen to this content. That I'm getting out my ideas in a proper way, in a clear enough way to understand. I understand that there's always going to be people on like a social media venue like this or Twitter or anything where, they just hear one word and they're just like, okay, well then, it's like, fuck you, right? It's like, shit, man, trading's a lot more nuanced than that. We always have to be aware of multiple different things going on. And it's actually very, very comforting to know that actually served you well, man. So awesome. Fuck yeah. Thank you for that. Skin says, can you look at Maker, please? MKR. Okay, we'll do symbol MKR, Maker. All right. USD, and you're looking at what time frames? No time frames given. Let's see what this one's doing. This one was one of the better actors this past year, but how is it holding up in all of this? Not well. Another example of not one that is bouncing very healthily here in comparison to the rest of the market. This one will be relatively weak, I would say. We can even delete this whole chart because realistically, we only need a couple areas of interest right here now, don't we? Got this area right here. Hey, that's not what I wanted to do. Where's my damn thingy? There it is. Found it. All right, we got this area right here. We got our rejection from yesterday. You got a nice little range going on. I mean, look, if this one's going to pull through, it's not going to be on its own volition. It's going to be due to the strength in mostly Bitcoin, assuming that Bitcoin even pulls through itself. I mean, you got a very obvious lower high right here. This one does not look good. Maybe you go for a double bottom right around 1950, but below 1950 or especially 22nd of June low, no excuses for this one, man. This one will come down extremely hard. Maybe like a week or two after that, somewhere down around 1700-ish region. I mean, this just it just looks sloppy as all hell. Here's what the real chart looks like. Actually, not so bad on the linear scale, to be fair, or not as ridiculous looking on the linear scale. I guess the weekly is a little bit different in this case. Does not look good here either. But if we go back down to the short-term timeframes, above this level right here, 2450, just your last lower high in the 4 hour. Could we maybe make an area a little bit better than that? Yeah, you can maybe use the last hourly breakdown right here at like 2330-ish region, and then I'd be looking for it to go for a little bit of a rally, probably somewhere back up to about 2600-ish region. But again, an example of something that's relatively weak. On any side of, if Bitcoin were to show any sort of strength here back up to like 39 or 40,000 bucks, I think best this one does is like 2,700 or so. I do not like this chart. We had one massive, let's actually see, did it hit the measure move off of this right here? Or let's actually take a more conservative one on this and give it the benefit of the doubt. We could look at it like this. Let's see what this would be populating. Descending triangles typically do work out pretty damn well in Bitcoin land. Yeah, actually hit it pretty much to the T. Pretty fucking good right there, I'd say. Now, that doesn't mean it has to reverse from this region. It just means that people probably take profits and it gets a bounce. And that's what we're seeing right now. So fair enough. Look for Bitcoin on direction. If Bitcoin starts to take a move to the upside, you can probably look at a little bit higher there. But live in hope, die in despair, man. All right, let's see. Fapping to charts has been a rough one, but watching and learning daily has helped with accumulating my long terms and making profits. Hey, there you go. Your hard work is much appreciated. That's fucking awesome, man. And you know what? That's actually a really mature decision to be making for yourself. Fapping to charts. So when you realize that your edge might be diminished, or you're not really feeling like this is like your trading environment, it's a very good decision to just step back, because why the hell not, man? You can do that. There's no penalty for stepping back. Yeah, you might miss it on a few opportunities here and there, but would you rather trade with confidence, where you actually have your edge very obviously set in your favor, or would you trade in situations where you're not feeling as confident in that region? I would go for I'd go for the former, right? It's just going to keep you safer longer, man. When you're not sure, the idea is capital preservation. You don't necessarily want to be putting risk on during those times, or at least minimizing your risk. And that's also another thing that you can do too. If you still want to stay in the game during these times, it's a good idea to just reduce your position size. For myself, once I kind of got to where I wanted to be, I actually just naturally reduced my position size anyways. Like nowadays, I trade about 1/10 of what I used to trade when I was like really gung ho about making as much money as possible. But nowadays, I just trade about 1/10 of that, and that's it keeps me busy. It keeps the sword sharp. And keeps you in the game, but at least you're not putting it all on the line because you don't need to. And that's if you don't need to, it's a good idea to just let it come to you, man. The best opportunities are typically very obvious in my experience. Hey, what's up, 420? Talk about another OG of this channel. Holy shit, man, how you doing, Mr. 420? He says 420 says, McAfee didn't kill himself. Did he or did he not? Shit, man. We got Epstein and McAfee now. Well, what do you believe? I don't know. The problem with McAfee potentially committing suicide or not, and it's not wise to like talk about people who nearly deceased. At the end of the day, like fucking rip, man. He was kind of a legend in his own right. He also apparently killed someone too, so got to balance out the good with the bad, I guess. But because like he hasn't been so truthful in the past, it does make it a little bit difficult to trust in that sort of martyr narrative where he has implied that if he dies, it's not of his own volition. Look, I'm not the person to judge on that, but who the hell knows is my point. Who the hell knows? Stylic here says, my heavy question was, is the bull market dead here in 2021, sir? Okay, this is actually a good one. So I am going to mark this one off. What is my marker for this one? Okay, here we go. Okay, the question is from Mr. Style Exteriors, is the bull market dead here in 2021, sir? Okay, this is actually a really good question. Is the bull market dead? Well, first and foremost, I would say throw all of that bullshit out the wayside. Who cares if the bull market is dead or not? We had a fucking 50% or almost 60% pullback. Crash is the right term. Yeah, 57.33% crash thus far. Look, whether you're bullish or bearish, I don't care. Like a fucking 50% or 60% move to the downside can be maybe even career destroying in some cases. And I'm sure many people did have their trading career destroyed during this time. So is it a bull market or not? Look, do you expect a 50% pullback in a bull market? No. Now, when you look at this on a monthly, is this a bull market or a bear market? It's obviously an uptrend here. Like the long term is up. Look, that's fine long term. And, we could put in perspective, man, we could come back down to 15,000 bucks and you still have, technically speaking, higher lows on the monthly, right? So is it really helpful to say that we do still have a macro uptrend when you can technically pull back not just 50 or 60% and still remain in that, but what's another fucking 50% on top of this one? Because that would just take us down on the macro scale to 71.5%. And realistically, that is typically what we do get on these macro pullbacks here, right? Here's 78. Here's from top to bottom about 62. One over here, pretty nasty as well. First about a 70%, and then in totality about 87%. So realistically, man, is the bull market over? I don't think it matters. I don't think you can't say that we're in a bull market and then simultaneously say we just had a 50% pullback and we've stayed on the lows pretty much for a month now. I don't think you can say that. I think the best case scenario, I think what's most accurate to say is that we had a pretty aggressive parabolic rally pretty much for the last year, since March 2020 to April, May of 2021. And right now we are certainly not doing that any longer. And obviously trends on all time frames that matter, up to a weekly and monthly, are to the downside, So what does that mean? It means that best we had a bull market. Now we're taking a bit of a pause and at best go sideways and maybe resume another bull market. But I would declare that a different bull market in the same way that 2013 and 2014 was over here, right? Where we do see 2013, you have a mega rally for almost a year, actually. No, about 4 months actually right here. Definitely have my visual acuity wrong on the weekly dills right here, but yes, about 3-4 months. And then it takes about 6 months to go sideways, and then you get another massive splurt. So what do you call that? I mean, again, you can't really say that this is still a bull market when you pull back 75%, right? I mean, you can play around with definitions and everything, but technically speaking, no. The way that I define bear markets is a weekly downtrend, and many people define them different ways. Some people will define them by just a static amount of a pullback or crash. In traditional markets, it's typically said to be about 20% or more. Well, I mean, Bitcoin can do 20% in a bull market, no problem, and that just doesn't apply in this case. I mean, we saw the same thing over here. Was this bull or bear right here? I mean, it's still a fucking bull, and it pulled back 30%, so another 50% on top of what you would traditionally look at in traditional markets as a bear market. So I don't think that applies. I think that's bull. That's a bullshit way to be looking at it, and people who look at it that way, it's not going to hold true over a long period of time. I think the weekly trend is what gets the macro rallies, the macro bull markets and bear markets the best and most forthrightly. And technically speaking, right now we did take out the wick lows of the prior range. So if you are aggressive, you could consider this a lower low already. Closing below 32,500 on a weekly would be the last nail in the coffin. There's no more hopium left on the weekly here. So take that as you will, but basically my answer is it doesn't matter, man. You got to trade what's in front of you, and when you drop off 50%, I don't care if you call that a bull market or bear market. It's fucking 50% drop, right? So fair enough. All right, Legend LEZs, what's up, man? Nike Daily Weekly, sure. All right, let's see. What is? I think it's just symbol Nike. Yeah, there we go. All right, or NKE, that's right. I've never actually traded this one myself, but short term I actually do like it. I do think it pops back up towards 135. But what time frame are you looking at? Daily and weekly. Okay, gotcha. All right, let's look at the weekly. Okay, weekly helps pull this one through a lot. Flagging out after a mega macro breakout. I do like this, and I do have the general disposition of this one testing back around the prior highs of this rally over time. But if you're asking about the daily, short term, sideways and up. A little bit of sideways, maybe does test around yesterday's low today, maybe around yesterday's low today, but ultimately I'll be looking for this one to pop back up. You can use yesterday's high as a continuation point for a short-term move to about 135.25. Generally speaking though, I like this. It's the weekly that I'd be going off of in the monthly actually. The monthly, a little bit more sloppy to be fair, but trading above all major movement averages is not necessarily bearish long-term. Weekly seems to me like it's trying to put in a bit of a flag formation. Weekly RSI is giving us, or it's actually giving us nothing right there because we did close on a lower low. Weekly TSI not necessarily turning up just yet, so that could be a little bit cause for concern. And you do have a bit of an obvious risk management point on this too. Look, you got a nice doji doodle right at the 200 moving average from yesterday. If you do take out the bottom side of it, I would consider that a bit of a short-term reversal and come back down to base off of 129.25. But if you're looking at the long term, I like the weekly. Monthlies, or I actually want to see the quarterly as well. Yeah, quarterly's a little bit in limbo too, but I do favor the upside at least for now. Momentum oscillators suggest maybe another push to the upside, but this one's getting pretty damn close, as is the majority of the stock market. I've remained bullish on the stock market pretty much the whole time, but I do think that we're getting pretty fucking close now. I do think that we're getting pretty fucking close. This one's starting to stutter a little bit, to be fair. And you got an obvious, base of formation right here as well at about 127. So below 127, this one is done. But this looks like a nice constructive consolidation to me, first and foremost. I'd give it the benefit of the doubt, sideways and up. Elsa, ask Krown to tell us about his signals group when he gets to it. Please, sir. I actually have no signals group. And if you do get hit up by a DM in your inbox from a Krown's Crypto Cave, not me. It's not fucking me, man. All right, Epidemic is back. Okay, yeah, the 3D space. I'm a designer and used to own a 3D printer shop. That's actually super cool. So basically, Triple D and Sys are like the Ford and Chevy, and they haven't done anything new I've heard of. Okay, interesting. So they very likely do have correlations, mostly just due to the fact that they're in the same sector. But it seems very obvious to me that that Triple D is like the gold standard for that, and then you got Sys as like, you know, kind of a little brother to it, not benefiting as much. But kind of riding off the strength of the general sector, which from what I understand, the 3D sector is like, you know, going to be a big one coming up in the not so distant future. All right. Let's see. Abademic says can't always be right. And even when you're not, you give conditions for both sides. Yeah, I mean, it's a game of statistics and probabilities at the end of the day. So, you know, I'm naturally going to be wrong on things, but the more important thing is that you do have to come up with a sort of invalidation point for the other side. And anyone who's been trading for a while, you will know this. Like, you can't just have one fucking scenario and be riding or dying off of that, because you will eventually die off of that. And that's the problem with it. You know, you have to remain flexible, and things do change around. And, you know, sometimes just random shit happens too. So it's always a good idea to have both, you know, as much preparation as possible. I've never felt so calm, and hey, that's awesome, man. That's fucking awesome. You know, that just shows that you got some trading maturity in you, and things are things are on the up and up. That's awesome, man. You know, realistically, you'll know that you're becoming you'll know that you're becoming a very successful, maybe not successful is the right term, but an experienced trader when you start to not feel the emotions of what you typically see within the market. You know, you see like a 10% update, you don't get like, you know, fucking gung-ho bullish. And when you see like a 10-20% downside day, it's like, okay, there's opportunity here. You look at things as opportunity rather than like scary. And that's the way that it should always be. Like, there's always opportunity no matter which way you look. It's just, if you're getting scared, that's the wrong disposition. I mean, there's always something there, you know, there's always something to be looking at realistically. Okay, Mitchell H says QNT is no junk, sir. Maybe take a look at it at QNT BTC. Okay, all right, let's see. Maybe I stand corrected here. Quant Bitcoin, so you're looking at a Bitcoin pairing, and you want to look at on the daily on Bittrex any targets after the recent dip. Let's see. Yeah, hey, pretty good one here. Why? Did I call it a shitcoin earlier, or did I? Where is that coming from? Let me see. Was it maybe on like the losers list or the winners list today? Yeah, okay, it was on the winners list, but I do think I called that one out as one of the not so shitty ones, or at least I remember that it has been doing some good things in the past, and this one would still be doing some good things right here. Okay, so you had the recent dip. Hold on. Let's make sure that we're talking about the right things here. Okay, so when you say on the daily and you're talking about the recent dip, you're talking about this right here. Any targets after that? Well, you can make a little bit of you can mark out some areas of interest here, of course, and that would be, well, we're pretty much already past the first one. That's a big one. So this one actually is breaking out right now. It looks like, yeah, this is breaking out. Powerful. Yeah, you're right. This is certainly not a shitcoin. Okay, you got that play between the 414 and the 272 right there. This one's breaking out right here. I really like the signature, actually. I'd be looking somewhere right around about, what is this, 243? Somewhere around 240,000 Satoshis. You know, if this move gets really aggressive, maybe 250,000 Satoshis, but anywhere around here is what I'd be looking for on this next move. Again, I don't feel too good about being, about looking for like an extension of this very impressive rally, actually. Like, very impressive rally. Oh, here we go. Okay. This is what it's being built off of. All right, here's what I missed. February 2019, I must have marked this off at some point, to May 2021. So a 2-year long accumulation phase. It's probably already been hit. Oh my God, it actually just got hit. Wait, what the fuck? I actually do think that it will continue on a little bit more. This is a very good chart. Definitely best chart that we've seen thus far. Definitely best chart that we've seen in cryptocurrency one. Wow, holy shit, man. It's not every day that you get the most obvious backfill of all time, and the easiest backfill of all time too here. Jesus Christ, powerful. Hey, there goes Bitcoin above 33. Let's see if we can do it here. And it'll probably, and just like when we spoke about the other altcoins, this one's relatively strong. So any sort of perceived strength in Bitcoin, this one's going to benefit even more. So this would also be another, you know, good example of, or sorry, another sort of like slight point in the Bulaw's court here. But hey, there's Bitcoin back above 33 again. Still working on lower highs here, but hey, it's going to have a chance. So fair enough. Give it the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise. And I'll still be rolling with this sort of range right here. Nice and well defined, and that's it. All right, cool. Let's see. Gabriel M says, Krown, I have an options call on Wish expiring Friday. All right, let's go check out Wish first. Wish. Okay. As Okay, I have an options call on Wish expiring Friday with the strike price at $14. Okay, so you bought the $14 call strike. I don't know how much you paid for it, but you basically bought the top of this consolidation. All right, and it is expiring this Friday. Okay, so this is all premium at this point. If you're talking about this Friday, this is already premium. This is just premium right now. I don't know when you bought that, but if you want like just a quick tip on options, man, if you're gonna buy premium, don't fucking do it the week of expiration. That's just you're better off just buying straight up stock, honestly. You're just paying premium at that point. It's not worth it. You know, more than 2 weeks out, it's gonna be a little bit more forgiving in my experience. Anyways, more of a chance of it being in the money or out of the money by then. I mean, generally, I like this. If you would say next Friday, I'd say probably fine. If you're talking about this Friday, maybe you're in the money, but are you gonna outdo your premium at this point? Probably not. I don't know how much you paid for the premium, but unless you paid like, I don't know, 10 cents for your premium, probably not, man. By Friday, I do like this one. If you said next week, or especially like July regulars, I'd say yeah, you're probably fine here. This one looks like it's constructive and works its way up, and the hourly looks good here too. Can it do it today? I guess maybe it'll have a chance. But you got to be thinking at this point, you know, you need your strike price plus your premium just to break even. So if I was on this one, I'd probably just consider closing that and just taking and longing stock if I really liked it. Because I would be bullish on this, but I don't know, by Friday, I'm not so sure. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not so sure by Friday, but I would be if it was like next Friday. That would look pretty decent. All right, sweet. Nate, hey, what's up, Nate? Can you check out ticker 18373? Fuck. That's going to be really difficult to do because it's going to set off all my damn triggers here. All right, Elsa, you're going to have to, you're going to have to deal with this. So let's see, it's 1873. All right. 873, okay. On the Hong Kong Exchange. What are we looking at here? How are you even trading this, man? Can you trade this as a foreigner? Looks good. You don't need me to tell you that this looks good. Weekly on new all-time highs. Price discovery right here after a very long consolidation from August 2020, resolved in May 2021. Flagging out after that first breakout. One very likely does move higher over time. Monthly, okay. Daily, yeah, daily very likely continues from here. I like it. Short term, does it trade a little bit sideways and down, maybe back down to like 1050, maybe, but long term I like it. Is there any measured moves to be made off this or any sort of areas of interest to be made off this? I think that we could do that. Yes, let's take this little short form consolidation right here. And we actually are already playing between the 414 and the 272. That's good. Next sort of breakout targets would be around $13 or so. 12 and a half would be a short-term stop, but realistically $13 is where I'd be looking towards, give or take a few cents. Look okay right there. What's up, Rocky? If your invalidation area is wrong and it runs the other way, how would you improve this? Is the key to improve your edge or just TA in general? Well, I mean, you could say both, right? Because all right, let me just fix this right here. All right, so let's dial into this question because it's actually pretty damn good. Okay, and let me actually mark this one off too. I think it's number 7. Okay, so we have a very good comment over here. If your invalidation area is wrong and it runs the other way, how would you improve this? Is the key to improve your edge or just TA in general? Both, but because we don't know exactly what you're doing, where this comment is coming from. So obviously, if your invalidation area is wrong, well, what were you using to generate that to begin with? That would be my question to you. Typically speaking, I like to operate off of market structure for that. So if I'm trading like ranges in this case, I'd say this would be my invalidation right here at about 32.2 to the downside. And this would be my breakout or maybe invalidation if you want to trade to the short side at above about 33.7-ish region. Anywhere within here, is fair game. So the way that I look at this is when you come back down to the bottom side of this structure, I'm looking to play maybe a little bit of a scalp bounce or something like that. Same thing around the top side of the structure right here. Now, of course, once you start to break this structure, in this case, take out the last high or take out the last low, you should be looking for a trendy move in that direction, looking for more. So that is why I choose those as invalidation points in this particular case right here. To kind of give me a bias on like, okay, if this thing comes back down below this area, it's very likely to go more. I'm better off closing this position, taking the loss, and repositioning better for a potentially better opportunity than just holding it like a fucking blind squirrel here, right? So same thing on the other side here as well, but it depends what you're using as your edge to generate that to begin with. I don't know what you're particularly using, but both of those will be components of that. So it could be that maybe you just don't know TA. Now I happen to know you, and I don't think that that's true, but if you're listening to this out there a little bit later, because I might post this as a standalone video, that could be one of the reasons. Yes. Maybe you just don't know what a fucking high and low is, or maybe you're just not even using this at all. Maybe you're using like some fucking voodoo or some shit for deciding where your stop should be. In that case, I can't speak towards that. In that case, obviously, technical analysis would be like the limiting factor, right? But if what piece of edge are you using is a real question, and then how do you optimize it for that is the secondary portion of that, is what I'd say. Okay, so technically both, but depending upon what you're doing. Let me see if you've actually comment again on that, then maybe we can come back to it. Okay, sweet. So I'll wait for that. What's up, Lance Spencer? Hey, brother, man. Hope you had a great day. Hey, man, I'm having a decent day thus far. Could have done with some better sleep, but we're getting through it anyways, man. LMND. Okay, daily, weekly. All right, LMND. Lemonade on New York Stock Exchange. And what do we got? Daily, weekly. Also, is that a possible inverted head and shoulders on the daily on this right here? Let's see. Yes, it is actually. Actually, yes. Very, very good right here. Here's your head. You got like a triple shoulder. You got like a triple left shoulder. That's fine. You got a higher right shoulder over here. This looks pretty damn good. And put in a higher low, confirming that along the way. That actually looks pretty damn good. I do like that. Wouldn't be the most obvious one, but regardless of whether you call this, an inverted head and shoulder, the fucking upside down elf shoe, what do you have right here? You have an obvious range going on, and here is your sort of daily breakout, probably even weekly breakout as well. Yep, would be a weekly breakout. Weekly looks really fucking good here. I do think it's not just going to test around this region. 113 is probably going to take it out and initiate a move back up toward 125, 126 region. After that on the weekly. Daily, could we make a move on this? I imagine it's probably going to align with those targets. We'll take a more conservative one for this, as I think it's more appropriate. And that actually does point up a little bit north of where I would have been thinking myself. I'd feel quite confident looking towards like 130, 135 region. This technically would be pointed up all the way towards 155. So I'd have areas of interest along the way. This would be the first one, the first big one, and then this would be the second big one. Both correlated with like some pretty big meltdowns on price action. But looking pretty damn good here. And would I call this an inverted head and shoulders? Yeah, you could probably say that. Looks good. Looks pretty damn good. Even on the short-term time frames, this one looks like it's nearly ready to actually break out, probably within this next week, maybe even this week. Looks very nice. All right, let's see if Rocky's gotten back. Okay. Hey, what's up, Derek? Derek says, I throw darts to decide my stop loss. That is a very good way to be doing things, and also to choose which altcoins you're going to go into as well during a bull market. Very, very effective. The upside down L. The Dixie is in an uptrend. That's probably why I have a wallet with 480,000 and you don't. Is this in reference to me? Actually, well, I don't have 480,000 more, but I don't think that's in reference to me. I'm not sure what that's speaking about right there. And how does that have anything to do with Dixie, sir? Let's see. Mark Harrison says, Krown, can you please review the potential Bitcoin descending broadening wedge 1 hour 40K target? Okay, so you're talking about this right here, I'm guessing. Let me pull up a fresh chart. Here we go. Do we want to delete this one? Yeah, we can delete it. We can just as easily put it back anyways. All right, so you're talking about something like this, right? You got a descending broadening wedge, which I suppose we already broke out of, something like this. Does this work out? It does work out. You're supposed to see volume on the lows. We have seen that, yes. Here's where I don't like it. When you come back down to retest your breakout, look, a lot of people think that that's like a normal thing to do. It's not in my experience, man, or at least for a good breakout. So this tells me that it's probably not going to play to that target. If you're looking at this at ascending broadening wedge, well, it's just not even that to begin with, because that doesn't fit. And I really dislike diagonal trend lines in general. But you'd be looking at, I guess if you use closures, it'd be something like this. But this is why I don't like diagonals, man, because the problem with diagonals is that it's just one little pixel of change there accounts for such a different change in price action. I do like descending and ascending broadening wedges. Like broadening wedges in general, I think are actually decent. But I don't know if this is going to play as one. Would the target be $40,000 is the real question though. Well, we can come up with that pretty damn easily. And no, it'd be about $37,000. The realistic thing though is that if Bitcoin does trade back up and especially close at like a daily above, let's call it 35 or especially 35,500ish region, then I would generally be looking back up towards about 39 or $40,000. Even though this would be like your first target, you'd probably be looking for a pullback from there. Probably try for a higher low at around 35, and then go for that deeper target. But technically speaking, if you're just going by the book, I would be questionable about this being a descending broadening wedge to begin with, and then technically speaking, it wouldn't be as great of a target there, to be fair. Okay, cool. Oh, no, not you. All right, well, I'm just sounding like a fucking dickhead then. Apologies, man. All right, let's see. People actually bought Doggy. I mean, really? Well, yeah, actually quite a fair bit. If you go into Reddit, Doggy Coin, it's actually like insane. People don't just like buy Doggy Coin. They triumphantly brag about buying it, which is equally as interesting to me, to be honest with you. Anyways, we can go check it out right now. Actually, I do think it's interesting to be looking at, just because this one was one of the more aggressively bullish coins this past I don't know, 6 months, all things considered. To be fair, this one's had one of the better bounces. You have to call a spade a spade. This one has had a better bounce than most. I'd probably be looking upside here, 26 cents or so. 4 hours holding it a lot better than most things, even better than Bitcoin, all things considered. Did a lot of volume on the low. Yeah, I'd be looking for this one to pop back up towards 26 cents. This would be another point in the Bulaw's court here for a little bit of short-term continuation. Again, difficult though, as long as it's below about 31 cents, but does have a little bit of upside here on the short-term timeframes, regardless of whether you're bullish or bearish. And I think that does bode well for Bitcoin. Now, if Bitcoin can take out 33,700-ish region, I probably would be looking for that one to be a generally a better beneficiary of a move like that. But it's a long day left to go here, and technically speaking, we are still about a clean $700 below that right now. Let's see. Chad Moss says, what does he say? Hold on, let me pull it up over here. Krown, please wish Sean Kushlolov for a happy birthday. Hey, Mr. Sean, have a happy birthday. I don't know how to say your last name, but I hope that whoever's singing happy birthday to you does, because that's a fucking hard one, man. Happy birthday, though, for real. Tell him there is no need for having half of the right ball he lost during the quarantine. Wait, what? sir, you lost your nutsack? Tell him there was no need for having half of the right ball he lost during quarantine. Hopefully that is just an inside joke. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about there, but Mr. Sean, there is no need for having half of your right ball sack that you lost during the quarantine. How does that happen? I don't know, man, but maybe a little bit of self-mutilation, perhaps. Hopefully this is all in good fun, man. I'm going to try to say your name again. Kololofer? Sean Kololofer. Happy birthday, Mr. Sean Kololofer. Mark B, Mr. Plum says power. We've looked at XRP already, man. We can look at power, I guess. Do you really want to look at this? Is this your thing? Power, like the crypto, this thing? Power Ledger? The Superman token? Hourly is not bad there, but daily is pretty bad. Weekly is pretty bad. And monthly is very fucking bad. Again, another dead heartbeat of death for an altcoin. Not good. Not good. Very not good. All right, let's see how deep in this stream are we. We're 2 hours and 10 minutes into the stream. Holy shit, man. It's probably time for me to wrap this one up. Let's go back to Bitcoin over here. Let's just redo the short-term timeframes here. Why not? It's easy enough. We got a pretty obvious range on the hourly. Again, really digging it out. 32, let's just call it 32.2 to the downside right now versus about 33.7 to the upside. As long as Bitcoin's baking within here, hey, the Bula still got a short-term hope, I suppose. But if we do break below about 32.3 or 32.2, I'd say I'd be looking for another retest somewhere down around low 31s, somewhere between about 31 even to 31 300ish, let's call it. So another $1,000 move. What's that? Could we actually just keel on over after that and completely destroy the current lows and take out $30,000? Definitely possible. I like to see a daily close below, especially like 31 and a half or even just 32 would probably do it for me, to be fair, before I really get like super gung-ho bearish on that. But keep in mind, if bears are going to take control, it very likely happens from here. We do have a death cross pretty much on the way, and this is for exponential moving averages, not simple moving averages, which I put a lot more weight on. And that will inevitably be happening unless a Bitcoin rallies back up, a few $1,000 in the next couple of days here, to kind of prolong it for a little bit longer, and then maybe it plays out the more sideways range. Again, I stick with what I've been saying for the past month and a half. Best case for bulls is sideways in this range. Right now we're on the bottom side of it, so you really got to be hoping and praying for a bit of a bounce here. But if Bitcoin can take out 33.7, I'd look for a quick move back up to yesterday's topside structure on the hourly, about 34.4. Probably plays out a little bit of a short-term range there. And then I would generally be looking for continuation towards the same target as yesterday, about 36, maybe even 36,500. Somewhere right around here is what I'd be looking towards. This sort of June 19th breakdown over here after this little consolidation. If that starts to happen, then we start to see a little bit of a domino of effect to the upside, as not only the daily will be confirming multiple drive, or it's already confirmed multiple drives of bullish divergence, which is good. We'd also see the 2-day do the same thing as well, 1, 2, 3 off the lows, which would be good, and then actually have a target a little bit higher in comparison to the daily target, which would, the daily target would be about 36. And the 2-day would be about 38 and some odd change. And that starts to look a lot better within this consolidation right here. Keep in mind the 5-day is also going to be closing today as well. And we do have big expirations coming up in just the next 24 hours about. And if the 5-day does close, if the 5-day can close back above about 35, I'd say does keep the Bulas hopes alive a little bit more here too. But with all of that said, if you are going to be bearish, this is probably the time, these next 2 days here, today and tomorrow, where you'd probably be looking for a potential mega breakdown if that is going to happen. So bears are in control. Bears are certainly have the ball in their court right now. And you know, based off the market, I mean, there's several altcoins that do look like they want to test a little bit to the upside here and keep the hopes alive. But for the most part, market's kind of bifurcated, and I imagine whatever Bitcoin does, the market's just going to mirror in a more aggressive sense for the most part. So with that said, I'll be signing off now. I want to wish you the best and the happiest. Take care and see you hopefully soon.
Write it, code it, name it, tweet it, mine it, stack it, live it, dream it, post it, scan it, charge it, send it, do it, and receive it. Trade it, buy it, sell it, store it, run it, list it, first rename it. Crypto logic. Pump it, hack it, lose it, dump it, sell it, ditch it, fix or pitch it, copy, paste it, nudge it, test it, build it, try it, then dip. Fork it, hype it, pump it, dump it, rinse, repeat, but quick relocate. Pause it, list it, send it, burn it, pump it, hack it, quick rename it, take it, take it, blend it, send it, swell it, sell it, click, unclick it, see it, watch it, learn it, know it, post it, tweet it,